Baby, I'm not mad at all. We both tried and tasted fall. Can't hold our love against the wall. No. Every inch of me is hurting and I just wanna leave it all behind. Yeah, I'm breaking up with you tonight. Yeah, you know it's hard to say. Yeah, you know we're not okay. I can see it in your face. We became a lonely place. Goodbye, so long, my dear love. Love is forgotten, so I'm moving on. Goodbye, so long, my dear friend. We did our best until the very end. Baby, I don't wanna fight. It has to hurt, that's all I know it's right. But you won't feel the pain alone. No. Every inch of me is hurting and I just wanna leave it all behind. Yeah, I'm breaking up with you tonight. Yeah, you know it's hard to say. Yeah, you know we're not okay. I can see it in your face. We became a lonely place. Yeah. Goodbye, so long, my dear love. Love is forgotten, so I'm moving on. Goodbye, so long, my dear friend. We did our best until the very end. Goodbye, so long, my dear love. My dear love, love is forgotten, so I had to move. Goodbye, so long, my dear friend. Yeah, yeah, we did our best until the very end. But goodbye, so long, my dear love.
I've been waiting all night. Watch you blow a mile. Please don't come over, 'cause you're not sober. Yeah, now you know that ain't right. If your dude knew you was coming over, that would be a problem. Yeah. If our friends knew undercover loving, they would try to solve it, yeah. Me and you, what we do, it stays between me and you. Me and you, what we do, it stays between me and you. Please don't touch me like that, 'cause you know I'll react. Don't make me do this, I feel so foolish. No, breaking rules and that's facts, facts, facts. If If your dude knew you was coming over, that would be a problem. If our friends knew undercover love and they would try to solve it, yeah. Me and you, what we do, it stays between me and you. Me and you, what we do, it stays between me and you. Wrong, then tell me that I'm wrong, I don't care. It makes me happy, and if you're happy, then let's be happy, then let's be happy, yeah. Me and you, what we do, it stays between me and you. Me and you, what we do, it stays between me and you. It stays between me and you.
You don't mean nothing to me. E-boys like you every dinner. I don't believe what you preach. You're just a rookie beginner. Hang out with boys in the streets. Like that will make you a winner. I don't believe what I see. Why you wearing gold? You're nothing more than silverware. Thinking you're so bold, but all you are is unaware. Walk around like everything belongs to you. Talk to me like I'm the young stupid fool. Take off all your clothes. You're nothing more than silverware. Why you calling me honey? Why you show off your money? Wave it like it's a tissue. Baby, this is your issue. I'm not falling for bullshit. If you like me, then say it. You don't get that I see through this facade that surrounds you. Growing up takes time, so don't you waste mine. You and me ain't right. Why you wearing gold? You're nothing more than silverware. Thinking you're so bold, but all you are is unaware. Walk around like everything belongs to you. Talk to me like I'm the young stupid fool. Take off all your clothes. You're nothing more than silverware. I'm over you, so done with you. I'm over you, so done with you. Why you wearing gold? You're nothing more than silverware. Thinking you're so bold, but all you are is unaware. Walk around like everything belongs to you. Talk to me like I'm the young stupid fool. Take off all your clothes. You're nothing more than silverware.
not my fault. You've been lying, saying that I took away your peace. Drowning by yourself, now you wanna blame me. Like you have no options. I ain't take your options. Now I'm not the problem. Man, that's on you, yeah. You've been terrorizing me, yeah, I'm always wrong. I knew you lost your mind when you dropped that bomb. Girl, are you crazy? Yeah, you must be crazy. I've been thinking lately it's you. You stole your peace, put it on me, but baby, it's you. Lying like a rat, but take your stuff back, baby, it's you.
Chris, Dana. Hey, K Cooper. What up, Jazz? Get ready to do it again. I told you guys, this makes it a lot easier when you cam up with me. Don't have me up here talking all by myself. Y'all get ready to talk about this 50-50 stuff. The women want 50-50, right? Women want 50-50. They want a man that only pays half the bills. You want to be a boss chick? You want to be a boss chick?
I just wanna take another look at you, so our eyes can finally meet. I just wanna take another look at you. Maybe that's when you will see that I'm
Women want to be in charge. Here's your chance, ladies. You get into the modern relationship, you can pay all the bills you want. What up, E Black? Man, me and my guy E Black keep missing each other. We playing phone tag like a motherfucker. I keep missing you, Black. And I got your Instagram after I finished working on the back. But then I had to go live. I had to prep for the show. So I'll hit you after this. Hey, Sheena. You want my play? Oh, Sheena, you ain't heard nothing. If you like this playlist, you ain't heard nothing. My business partner, Shanti Ray, is in the house. Shanti, you didn't show up yesterday. I missed you, but I'm glad you're here today. Pick-me's want 50%. What are you talking about? I heard the boss women want 50-50. Women are independent. You guys are the most independent, the most liberal. You want equality? Pay half. Here's your chance. Get you a man that don't want to cover all the bills. He don't want to pay everything. You don't want that. You don't want to just relax. You want to get up and go to work, ladies. And then when you get that paycheck, pay them bills. That's what women want, right? That's what I was told. Oh, you did tap in with me yesterday? See, Shanta, you be having them trap accounts. Yeah, you having them burner accounts. So you can be, I should have known better. You from LA. You know how we get down in LA. Oh, let me turn my air conditioner on, man. It is hot. Oh, I got 20 seconds. It's hot in here.
Maybe that's when you will see that I'm falling hopelessly in love with you, 'cause you're making me complete. I just wanna take another look at you. Will you let me?
I don't know if I turned on my air conditioner or not. It is hot in here. Welcome to another episode of High Value Shan, where not only is Shan a high value man, so is the content. Glad to see everybody. Melinda's in the house. Hey, Melinda says some of us is paying because we have to. Oh my God, we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about whose fault it is. We're going to discuss all the aspects. We're going to discuss whose fault is it that you ladies are paying all the bills or 50% of the bills. My man Sheed is here. Hey, Brittany. Good to see you. Listen, we touched on this yesterday when we were discussing high value men and high quality men. Most high value men want to pay all the bills. But modern relationships are not dictating that. Modern relationships are saying it should go 50-50. So let's get into it for a second. Give me a quick second, man. I got to turn. I don't know if the air conditioner turned off. I don't want to be sweating on camera. Okay, we good now. I was messing around with the heat. I got one of those Nest thermostats, the ones that with the, you know, the big knob made by Google, and you spin it. It gets kind of confusing. And I have it on the heat cool setting, and I normally just keep it on one or the other. But now because it's cold, and you know, California has weird weather. You know, you'll be freezing at night and it'll be hot in the daytime. So like last night was cold, but then right now it's getting hot, all in the same 24 hours. And I need the thermostat to just kind of keep a cool temperature, but I've been playing with it. And it hasn't learned, you know, my house yet because I'm too busy messing with the thermostat. So now I'm starting to sweat, but it'll be cold in here in a second. Another thing I got to get used to is talking slower. Somebody gave me some advice and told, Shan, you talk so fast. They say I move too fast. And by the way, you could cam up at any time. If you guys want to come on the broadcast and be part of the broadcast, no problem. I don't like to have those panels that have like 15 people up on the stage. It's cool when you have a simple conversation. You can get dialogue. Most people on the panel is going to share the sentiments of most people that's watching. So like, you know, 2, 3, 4 people, that's cool. But what's important is the topic. And today we are discussing 50-50. And I know to be honest with you, it seems like the population is sharing a 50-50 view on this. Half the people want traditional, the other half want 50-50, and for various reasons. You know, you hear a lot about modern women, the term modern women. That's a term that's been around a lot, but it's been thrown around a lot, and especially in these YouTube streets, these Clubhouse streets, and people having conversations because they're saying that modern women are fleeting the ideas of the traditional woman, or they're trying to be, as Lauren said yesterday, a hybrid version of the modern and traditional woman. So you got the traditional woman, which we always describe her as the worst of the worst. She's always described as the barefoot, home and pregnant. You buy her a vacuum for Mother's Day. You buy her a feather duster for her birthday. All she does is cook and clean and is basically somewhat of a slave to her husband, right? The 1950s woman, the Stepford wife, right? And so, but that's not the case. And here's the reality. Apparently the women in that day was happier than women of today. Now, is that because of drugs and people being medicated and doped up all the time? Is it because times are just harder? That's a whole different discussion. Point is, that is what the traditional woman is normally depicted as. Whereas the reality is the traditional woman was, in my opinion, super happy to take care of the family, ecstatic to raise the children, and ecstatic to instill her personal values into the kids and not send the kids out. You know, you got women now, they get pregnant, man. They got, well, how much time off do women get legally? I know companies can extend it, but I think the law states that women get a month and a half, 6 weeks, right? After that. So imagine having a child, and a month and a half later, you got to go back to work to a 9 to 5. You got to pass your kid on, especially if you are, Dana's in the house. Pull up, Dana. Let me pull you up real quick.
I have a question.
Not that one.
I have a question.
That's another discussion. Hold on, Dana. Let me get this together because I got to get, I never did this one here. So we have to switch Hold on, love. Gotta add myself. Remove this. Remove you. Add you. There we go. All right. So I think I was saying, you know, and it's funny because my guy. All right, talk to you, bro. He leaves at the same time every day, 1 o'clock. What was I saying? Traditional women. I forgot my point. Danny, you remember what my point was? I said just a minute ago before I brought you up.
Traditional women. Oh, the definition of traditional is like in a negative light as opposed to
right. Oh no! I was talking about how much time does a mother get after she has her child. So you got traditional women who, once she was pregnant, she was home and stayed home all the time until the kids went to school. You know, because dad went to work. But men don't make money like that no more. It's very difficult for a man to go out and make enough money to sustain a household of 4, cover all the bills, insurance, everything that needs to be pay all the food, and while mom is at home. And so now, you know, family leave time is, I think, 6 weeks. So you got a month and a half. Can you imagine? This is where I left off. Can you imagine as a mother? And some of you have, right? But for the ladies that haven't, and men, please you can't empathize. So try to sympathize with this point. Imagine having a child. And then after a month and a half postpartum, you got to go back to the cubicle. You got to go back to the employee parking lot, get up in the morning and somehow figure out a way that somebody is going to take your child and you got to pass your kid on to oftentimes a stranger. Your kid ain't even 2 months old yet. Not even 2 months old. Can't flip over by itself. Right? Vision is not even clear. Doesn't even know who you are that well. And you got to take it to a nanny or a babysitter. Hopefully you have a family network where there's a grandma or some aunties or sisters or children, older children, something that's already in place that can help you out. But imagine if you don't have that and you got to take that kid to a stranger. Your infant, not a toddler. You got to take your infant to a stranger simply because you got to go back to work. But that's modern living. So you had traditional living where women, in my personal opinion, was happier because they were following their natural order. Women are nurturers by nature, man. I don't care how you slice it. Y'all could be boss chicks all you want. You guys are nurturers by nature, and you are big on family and pouring into your husband and your kids. That's what I believe. But the traditional woman has kind of gone the way of the dodo bird. And now we have the modern woman. We have the modern women who is the corporate executive. She's the entrepreneur. She's the hustler. She goes out there and she makes things happen. You know, oftentimes foregoing a family or not even having children or trying to wait till she has children. What up, Mr. O? Pull up. I told you I like it when people's on stage. And so, where's my guy at? Where'd he go? Oh, I put him in the wrong slot. There he is. What up, Mr. O?
How you doing?
And so, I'm good, man. Just throwing out this little quick monologue. And so imagine, ladies and gentlemen, having to take your children and pass them off to somebody a month and a half after you give birth. And now you get to see them after 8 hours. Thank God you might be able to FaceTime your infant child, but you got to see them after 8 hours after you pick them up, after you fight through traffic and get home, hopefully, stanking and going and sweating and all your whole day. Haven't had a chance to take a shower yet. You got to go pick up your infant. That's crazy to me.
I mean,
right?
Was it all a lie?
That's modern. That's modern, Mr. O. And so then,
can you hear me?
But yeah, you clear. Give me a quick second. So now you are open to do what you want, but as a result, some of you have to do that. As Melinda said in the chat earlier, it's not that she wants to do 50-50 or that she wants to pay all the bills. Some women have to. But the thing is, some men are requiring that. Some men are requiring that. And, you know, and the reality is you cannot buy a house. And I said this yesterday. You cannot buy a house in the same neighborhood that you grew up in. Not the way your parents did.
Right.
My mother bought her first house in 1970. Her first one was in 1970. She paid $19,000 for that house. That house is today worth $800,000. My parents bought a house together in 75 for $35,000. That's $1 million house today. $35,000, 1975 money. I don't know what. Can somebody in the chat go run to the inflation calculator on Google and tell me what $35,000 was worth is equivalent to today? So whatever $35,000 of 1975 money, what is that equivalent to in 2021? Because that's theoretically what a house should cost. But that house today is $1 million. That same house that they bought for 35 grand is $1 million. So the reality is most children or most youngsters, whether they are Generation X like me or millennials, you know, or even Zs, they can't buy a house where they grew up in. I mean, in the neighborhood that they grew up in.
That would be $247,000 today.
Wow. Thank you, Dana. So that the house that my parents bought in 1975 for $35,000.
I put 1970.
Oh, it's going to even be less.
So 75, 178.
It's going to be even worse. So a house that my parents bought in 1975 for $35,000 should theoretically only cost $170,000 today.
Right. What's the correlation with
it's $1 million? Oh, what's the correlation with what?
Wait, do your parents still have that house?
Oh yeah, it's in the family.
Oh, okay.
Why we can't buy the way we used to in our neighborhoods? Why modern women feel that it should be 50-50? Why men are requiring that? At some point, it wasn't like this.
Mm-hmm.
But
it wasn't.
Things changed, and there had to be something that connects all of this. You know, as to why things changed and why we are where we are today.
What do you think it is?
I mean, I think that like the exhausting argument that we always have is, where's the man? He left the home at some point, and then everything just went to shit.
Well, that's the thing. So you have your GDP, and then you have your inflation, and then like Ben Bernanke and whatnot, and they increase the interest rates and whatnot. So the reality is the rates, the labor force wages has not increased with the cost of materials, which naturally increases the cost of living, the cost of labor, and so on and so forth. So people are not getting. In fact, they say today keeping your job is getting a raise. You can forget about getting more money. Whatever you negotiated, be happy with that for a long time. Keeping your job is the modern keep getting a raise, because employers now are starting to fire people like it ain't no thing, because they feel they could just replace people, because again, it's supply and demand. But that's the case. And so now in the new modern dating, and this is where me, you, and Dana, and whoever else want to pull up and talk about this, and you guys could discuss it in the chat. The relationships haven't stopped. Courting hasn't stopped. Men loving women haven't stopped. Families haven't stopped. So now, back in the day, you had a guy who was a young executive, or maybe he was a mechanic, worked with his hands. He was able to cover his entire family. Sometimes you know how grandpa is. Grandpa probably had 2 families. You know, granddad had a family across town, but they were able to cover that bill. Everybody was fed, all the food, the eggs, everything was paid for. Today, a $35,000 house that was purchased in 1975 should theoretically be worth only $175,000 today, but instead it's $1 million. It's almost 10 times more. You know, it's certainly what's that, 6 times more. So the question is this, and here's the question of the day: who's interested in 50-50 relationships because of the times, or because of the necessity, or just because women want or men want to give that independence to women, as opposed to who is more interested in traditional roles, who want to basically put everything on a man's shoulders and men pay all the bills. And men pay all the bills. Oh my God, E Black is here. What up, E Black? Let me pull him up.
You said that give women independence. A woman needs your permission to be independent. Like, I would say when you look at young couples today, they may come in it 50-50, because they're both starting out in their careers and they want to live together because they're in love. And that's fine because, a lot of times when I see young people who they're in STEM, so, you have people 25, 28 making a high six figures, well, starting off with 100 or, by the time they're 30 at 200 or whatever. So if they in a relationship at that young age and in love, you're kind of putting in together up until she gets pregnant. And then, you have that safety net of she could be at home, raising the kids, and your lifestyle pretty much doesn't change because he has a good earning job / career. So you're no longer going 50-50. And then you have women, I would say like myself, I only do 80-20. 20 and he's 80 and me 20, and I mentioned this yesterday. And 20% the most, I may not even do 20. And that's just me. I just think because I had my son when I was 21. He was in his 20s, but he still paid majority of the bills then, and eventually we broke up. I did get into another long-term relationship, was living with someone. He paid all the bills. So I didn't offer. I wasn't going to offer. I just thought like that's the norm to do. So again, it depends on our scenario. Now, if a woman meet a man and they're dating or whatever, and they get to that point of, oh, you want to live together or whatever, and he says, well, let's split the bills, that to me, that's a red flag. So it's different scenarios.
But wait,
I want to do women.
Is it a red? Wait, hold on a second, Mr. O. Is it a red flag because he suggested it, even though that's something that you want?
Who said I wanted that?
You said 80-20. That's a split. No.
I say 80-20, but he said split the bills 50-50.
Well, he didn't say the percent. Oh, so you saying so it's a red flag if he wants 50-50, but it's all good if he wants 80-20. For you.
80-20 at best, yeah. And like I said, 20% max. But so if it's 80-20, because you have two different individuals coming in with their own mindset, and then you have to come up with a compromise in the middle. But some things you're just not going to compromise. So got it. For me personally, I'm not speaking for every woman, but some women don't want to pay nothing. I don't mind contributing. And this is not a black or white thing. This is all women from all backgrounds. So I contribute, yes, but I just feel as though for me, being with the man, living with the man, being head of household, you have to be in control of that household. You have to own it, provide it, all that. So I can't pay 50-50 because that's taken away from your masculinity, your manhood, all that. I don't want to do that to you.
Okay. Go ahead, O.
My question was like, do women really want independence? I think that was something that came about for them to protect themselves at some point. She doesn't speak like she's an independent woman, but like my question was, if she's only paying 20%, does he have a say so on what she does with the rest of the 80% of her money that she's not contributing? Yeah. Does he get to control how that's invested?
Or is that all? Is that just your money?
That's just yours, and he's got to use 80% of his money to pay the majority of the bills and dive in front of bullets. And you get to keep 80% of your money and do whatever you want to with it. See,
what do you mean dive in front of bullets?
Running a household is 50-50 thing. Like, if it's the money thing alone, that's one thing. But being 50-50, like maybe like on the decisions on how we move forward as to what we're building, but the money. I think whether you're only contributing 20% to the bills, that man should still be in control of what's done with the rest of it. If you trust him enough to marry him, you should trust his decisions on what the finances are, how the finances are going to be handled.
Right, and that's a great That's I get feedback. That's a great question.
Somebody turn off your YouTube or turn on your audio. Okay, go ahead. Then
Because if that's the case, because I'm working, you're working, you don't control my money, I don't control yours, but you do have say so. As in, you're gonna inquire, well, okay, yeah, you're doing this. But yeah, what are you doing with the rest of your money, right? And if you see a woman just buying up BS, and not saving, not investing, and not doing the responsible thing, yes, you do have a say so, and that's something that you should discuss. But I'm just talking about, the main bills like mortgage, or if you renting and stuff like that, just that is your job. Because if I like I said, I'm contributing 20%, but I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm doing all the household duties.
And I am stopping robbers and bad guys and going out into the world and navigating a way for my family to have what they have. So like I think my investment with risk, if you do a risk analysis on my investment, I have a higher risk. So at
But you're a
these
man.
courting, which I think these are courting questions anyway, so we shouldn't have gotten to marriage without me knowing her spending habits. If you're gonna trust me to walk down that aisle and me put that car on your finger, then I should have some say so as to what the family unit is acquiring monetarily and how that's dispersed.
Well,
I think
I'm
we should
talking
be
in
in
the,
agreement
I'm talking
on
in the
that.
pretense of we're not married yet, because you're right. All that has to be squared away before you even want to propose to her. So this is before we're married and we're together and we decide to live together.
I'm not paying bills before we married. No.
One thing
I'm
that you
not
mentioned,
What if
Dana,
y'all
when you
living
came
together?
in.
What she say?
Well, no. She was responding. So you said you're not paying bills before you get married. Oh,
No, we're not paying your bills before we get married.
No. Are you going to be living together before you get married?
I don't agree with that either. I just got off the phone with my little cousin. He called me. He said, "Man, I'm tired of staying up to 2 a.m, but I don't want to give this girl a key yet." I said, "Man, just get one of those combination locks on your door, where you can put the keypad in. It expire after a certain amount of time." But I don't promote her moving in with him fully, even putting the toothbrush there, unless there's some type of real investment and commitment. We know we're going off to the future together. Like, why are we
Okay.
living together and we don't have no plan for the future that we're going to make this out of? And why am I giving 80% of my money towards your bills? That seemed like
Okay.
a great deal for you, but not me.
No, but okay, you're talking on the surface. I'm talking about something deeper than that. No, we're in a committed relationship. When we decide we're going to live together because we both want to marry each other, we didn't propose yet, but that's the road we're on. But if you personally don't want to live with your woman before you're married, that's your personal preference, right? Some people want to wait till after they're married to live together. So even after you're married, you still should be paying majority of the bills. But some people live together before they're married. Like, I have to do that before I marry someone, if I marry someone.
I think either way, whatever you're making, though, I think that man should have a say so on how that money is dispersed, or whether we living together before we're married or after. Like, I think that bottom line, if he is going to wear the pants in that relationship, he should be in control of the finances. And why are you with him if you don't trust his ability to do that?
well, see, the way Dana is coming off, in Black, I'm gonna ask you a few questions too, because I know you're married. The way Dana comes off is if, even when I said allowed, the independence allowed part, and I think that rubbed you the wrong way, Dana.
Yeah, in control.
It perked me up a little bit. I'm like, I just want to,
Because that's the modern woman in you, and I get it, and I understand that's the independent. But the reality is, men did allow women their independence. In the event a man wants to take that away from you, you're going to have to call another man to give it back to you. All the laws that are put in place, all the liberation wasn't taken by women. It was given to them by men who took it from them and oppressed women back in the day. So you had all this oppression. You had women that was beaten and I mean for centuries. All of that modern technology and modern day thinking and whatnot allowed men to be able to overcome all of that horrific stuff and give women the independence. So it was given to you. But don't look at it so much as like, well, what you giving me? Well, yeah, we giving it to you.
I'm talking about on an individual level. Between me and you. I'm not talking about society and public policies that were put in place, because that's what you are alluding to. I'm talking about between me and my man. Me and my man. You can't give something or take something like unless I allow you to do it.
Well, yeah, well, that's where the submission comes. So that's now we can get. I'm speaking on the macro side, right? So that's where I was talking about when I said it. Now, if we talk about in a relationship between two people, giving and taking, is a man giving it to you? Well, at that point, it's about submission. But that's a whole topic. I already got that lined up for the future. So we'll get into the submission part. I know you're gonna be spicy on that one. But even here, when you're talking to O, and O is like, "Yo, you know, does that man have any control over over the other 80% of the money that you're making?" And the one thing that you said was, "Well, I can't tell him what to do with his money, and he can't tell me what to do with my money. But I mean, he has a say so." I think O is speaking not so much as say so, but if you decide that you want to go do something, or you want to go buy a car, or you want to go buy a bag, or you want to go on a vacation with your 80% of money that you're saving, and he says no, are you looking at it as I'll take it into consideration, or is no a no?
I don't know. That's a good question.
See, it shouldn't be that easy. It shouldn't be hard to answer.
Well,
it shouldn't be hard to answer.
No, it's not I'm not saying it's hard, or I'm not saying it's easy, because I'm looking at it. I've never been relationships I've been with in marriages that I know that a man, he pay all the bills. His wife contributes, like 20% literally. He doesn't say, well, what you doing with the rest of your money? What he does say is, you come asking, when she comes asking him for money, that's when he's like, well, where's your money at? So he's not concerned with when she works, she chooses to work. She don't have to, but she chooses to. So he's not concerned with what are you doing with your paycheck, as long as she's paying the bills that she is obligated to pay her portion, which is, like I said, 20%, right? But when a problem comes and she comes asking him for money, that's when he questions, well, what are you doing with your money? They do have savings. They have savings. I'm pretty sure they have a family joint savings and their own separate savings. So he's not saying, okay, let me see what you're doing with your paycheck this week. It's not that type of control thing.
That scenario will run real smooth when the man is up 250 and she making 40. But if it's upside down, then like he's not gonna be as smooth with that. But if he gotta say so on, let's say you making doctorate money and he down at Comcast, then if he gotta say so on what you doing with that, I know that. See, like this whole independent thing, it came out of like women being spenders, and the market wanted to get women out there spending money. So they split up the homes like strategically. But women are gonna make decisions on emotions to spend. If you with this man, he's there to make these mental decisions. Hey, this is what the books say this month. We can't afford that car right now because we trying to do something else. And you got to be with that. Mm-hmm. You can't say, well, I'll take it into consideration, but
you can't say got to be. You got to say supposed to be. Dana don't like got to be. Dana don't want you to say I got to be with anything.
Honestly, I agree with him.
But if he up 250 and she making 35, 40, he ain't gonna care about that. Like, spend it how you want to.
That's their scenario, and that's where I'm taking that from, and
that's how
I live, and that's where I'm getting my thinking from, because people who I've been with, they're up 250 and I'm down there, so
they don't care about what you do with that. I mean, they'd rather advise you what to do right with it and turn it into something else.
Right. In that case, I agree with you. Because then when you're looking at the finances like that,
Let me
Yeah,
go
Dana's
get
a
my
boss.
check mark now.
Don't be trying to prove me wrong.
Dana's
I'm
a
gonna
boss
take
too.
my victory now because when we get to the submission, I know she's not gonna agree with me on the submission.
What up, E Black?
What's going on, my guy?
My guy, your audio sounds fantastic, bro, and your camera looks great.
Thank you.
E Black, you are happily married. You've been married. Is it 10 years or 12 years?
10.
10 years.
Well, going
so E
on
Black
10,
is
I should say.
okay. So E Black has been successfully married for 10 years. He's mentioned that he's had some ups and downs, like every single marriage that I've ever heard of has had. But E Black, tell me what, if you don't mind us prying too deep into your family business, how do you work things at your house and how do you prefer things, and have they always been like that?
For the most part, I've always had a life philosophy in terms of, I cover everything. I've always been like that. So, in terms of our marriage, yeah, I cover everything. Now, there is certain things that I tell her, hey, if you want to have our daughter go to dance class or certain activities, you're going to have to probably cover them because I'm just a middle class man like anybody else. We're going to have to figure these things out. Certain things aren't going to be able to, it's just only certain amount of paychecks in a month and a certain amount that's going in and a certain amount going out. There's also, investments. There's also, food, vacations that we may want to plan out. So we all both can't be going willy-nilly spending. So for my particular household, I make sure I try to cover 100%. But if there is anything that she does cover, it, like I said, it's probably related to the enrichment part of our lives. And even to that comes to an extent. So.
Now, has she ever had a problem with that? Maybe early on, did she ever say, no, I want to contribute because maybe she wants more input as to how things go? Or have you always given her, do you take her, is it a situation because you cover most of the bills, you just take her advice and it's still your final say? I mean, how does that work?
Well, for the most part with us, women, they don't want to spend money. Like, let's be honest, how many women will actually want to say, hey, I'll cover this.
I got that, babe. Don't worry about it. I cover it.
Yeah, the cable bill was high this month. You ordered the fight. I'll pay for it.
I've never heard that. That's.
So for the most part, she's very happy in her situation. In terms of how we handle everything, I take the role of being a great financial advisor. I try to keep a good focus. My wife actually is one of the greatest savers I've ever seen. Like, she gets paid if she got paid $1,000 at the end of 2 weeks, she has $995.
Do you have access to that $995?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
But it's a mutual thing, like, she knows that I'm not the type of guy that's gonna go out and spend willy-nilly on anything. I've assumed the role of a financially secure man. I don't have to wear the latest Jordans. I don't have to buy the biggest chains. I don't have to go to bars and spend willy-nilly. So she trusts me in that aspect. I've assumed the husband role. The problem what I see with a lot of modern women is that they want to still compete with the single women, and the men still want to compete with the single dudes. Once y'all go off to the sunset, it's time to go. Your party's done.
Got it. Shout out to Jonathan Barronville. That's my guy. Jonathan, I learned how to do the moderator thing, so I modded you up. I don't know if you can see it or not. And thank you for the super chat, bro. I appreciate. I'm getting used to. I feel weird. I feel like I'm supposed to give somebody, like, send a T-shirt or something to all these super chats that be coming in. I got my guy Roger Report. I consider him like almost like a mentor. He's the first person that even welcomed me on YouTube. Roger Report, and and we spoke months ago and followed his game, so he's like a big bro to me, and he shot a super chat out to me. This is his second time or third or fourth. Actually, on my last 2 broadcasts ago, he gave me like 4 super chats all in the same thing. It's weird. So thank you guys. I appreciate you for that, man. And I'm getting used to how this works and follow the what do you call it? the protocol, the YouTube. I'm learning the YouTube protocol and how all this works. Mr. O, are you in a relationship, bro? Oh, Gail is here. I love Gail. Gail Lockett is here. Thank you, Gail, for helping me out. You're not in a relationship, Mr. O?
I'm not in a relationship. I'm 40 years old. I was in the Air Force at 18, and I was married at 20. While all my friends were out experiencing things, I was doing the research for their successful marriages now. So I tried. I tried it. They learned a lot from me. I think I got married for the right biblical reasons, growing up Christian. But I didn't know enough about a man to preside over a household like that. So,
how old were you when you got married?
20 years old. That lasted on paper for like 6 years. We rarely even lived together. You know, she was more comfortable living with her parents at the time. Even when I got the house, she was rarely there. I moved back to Texas when I got out, and then she stayed in Missouri, which is where I was stationed. And then she came to Houston for a few years, for a little while at the time. But I went overseas. I was in the war. I was in 2 wars. So Iraq jumped off around that time, and I was gone for a couple years. And when I got back, that thing was kind of like dissolved. It never really even matured into anything because we never really lived together. We never really learned each other. We didn't ask the proper questions before we got married. And there was a baby involved, which is
there was no premarital counseling whatsoever.
The church, the church gives that bias counsels. I don't consider that therapy at all, but yeah, we had a baby involved, so of course they're going to motivate you to push you to do that. But it just never matured in anything, and I didn't even know how to go about doing that, nor did she know how to be a wife. So I don't want to hold anybody accountable for any other person's actions. I own mine, she owns hers, and there's a lot to be learned from that. And she has a marriage now that has been going on for a while, for some years now, and I've just been trying to find a better deal than that. I think it's the single life is where it's at for now.
Got it. Your baby is grown now, yeah.
Yeah, he's 20 now.
20 years old.
19,
okay.
20, yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up. So I get pushback when I tell people that I mentor young men to focus on the bag and not so much relationships, and I tell young women to focus on relationships and not so much the bag. I get people like, oh, what are you saying that I shouldn't go to school, get educated, but I want you to be marriage minded, young ladies. I need you to understand that chasing the bag at a young age can put you in a bad disposition if you're looking for a relationship later on after you're in your 30s and 40s. And I know that most older women, especially Generation X, women my age, I'm 49, women my age almost seem like they don't want the young women to have healthy relationships. I made a post on my Instagram today about I forget the sister's name, but she was explaining to everybody that she had a lot of sex, she partied a lot and everything, and she's not advising women to do that. But I don't normally hear that myself. And then when it comes to the young men, like my guy here, Mr. O, he got married at 20 years old. Marriage lasted roughly 6 years. They were already checked out even before that. And the reason why is because Mr. O wasn't fully developed into his manhood. He was just joined the Air Force. He was, he didn't have the guidance. He was listening to the church, but you know how churches can be. So I'm not going to go there. But if I had been in Mr. O's life when he was 19, I would have advised him away from that, because I think that he would have become a better husband and a better man and somebody who can provide and follow, it sounds like, the philosophies that he has for a relationship better if he had waited. That's just me.
What's crazy is that my father wasn't there physically in my life, and at a young age I resented that. But it's crazy thinking back now, he was the only person screaming, "You're an idiot, don't do that," at 20. But the church, the Air Force, her parents, they all was like, it's just a piece of paper. It's what a man is, and do it, and for all these other reasons, right? But like, if I were her father, and when I asked him, "Can I marry your daughter?" I would have looked at that myself and said, "Hell no." Like, I know what you finna do. You're not ready, but being passive and wanting to be in his girls' lives, he went along with what they wanted, long as he can come back and clean it up. And I had to,
like a lot of dads do.
Right, give his daughter $100 on the side behind my back, that type of shit.
Can I also say this too? Because you touched on this, Shannon, just now. That you suggest to women, focus on relationships, not so much on the bag. And I get that, and that makes sense. But I need to one up that, because before a woman focuses on a relationship, she needs to focus on herself. And that is one of the problems. And I'm just speaking for women. Men, we all go through this, but I'm specifically addressing women. That is one of the problems, to where men are having an issue, she's not submissive, or, she's this, she's everything the opposite of what I need. And, have you ever asked her what is it that she wants? And if you did she really give you a clear answer? A lot of women do not know what they want. They think they're supposed to want this, or this is how it's supposed to be. No, that's not life. You have to know yourself as a woman before you bring in a man into your life on a serious level. You're going to make mistakes. That's how you learn too. But you kind of need some guidance as well. And Frances Cress Welsing, because I hear this now on YouTube, not so much in real life, but on YouTube with the Men I Speak, saying that, women are over the hill after 30 or whatever. But Frances Cress Welsing, she wrote in one of her papers, she is a psychologist, she said women should start thinking about marriage and children at 30, because that is when she start being more in tune with herself. I agree, because you're talking about maturity, especially today, 2021, let's say even in 1995, as opposed to yesteryear. I remember the judge was telling me, what was the average life expectancy for a man in the 30s and the 40s? 25. So back then, you were mature already at 14, 15. Now, because of technology and because the times are more modern, you don't have those responsibilities that our grandparents had. And it's
So
started
Dana,
to come out of it with our parents. So so this is what I'm saying. You
Can I
can't,
say
a
something to that?
25-year-old,
hold on,
woman, a 25-year-old woman, some women at 25 are mature enough to handle a marriage. But just statistically and data and science is really 30.
So let me ask you this: How old were you when you had your youngest child?
I was 21.
So you had had your youngest child at 21. So you had all your children early.
I had my first. See, I was a teen mom. So,
okay.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I speak from experience.
No, I hear you. I understand. I understand.
So I had, and I include my daughter, but with the teen, being a teen mom.
I got you. Let me ask you this. So you're suggesting, along with this person that you agree with, that women should start considering and thinking about relationships at the age of 30, 5 years before geriatric pregnancy, marriage, 5 years before geriatric pregnancy.
Yeah, and I don't see all that geriatric pregnancy. That's that European talking mess.
No, that ain't European. I had my kids at 43. I know how, and it was complicated at both times.
But it could have been complicated when she was 30. But I'm not saying that, okay, between 30 and 35, every single woman needs to get married and have children. It could be 28. It could it could be a little over 35. It could be a little below 30. I mean, a little over 30. It could be a little below 30. But I'm just giving that average number.
Let's do a window.
Yeah. A 21-year-old, a 21-year-old and a 30-year-old, they're two different mindsets. I was totally different at 21 when I was 31.
I tend to believe that 21-year-old and younger women are bright enough and smart enough and in tune with themselves enough that they can work out the things that they need to work out internally to make a good marriage work, especially if they're working with somebody in a hypergamous relationship where the man is covering everything. See, it's not just I want women to just get you married young to whoever is going to propose to them. They also got to get married to somebody who's good enough to be a husband. So if you got somebody who's young, 20-year-old, a young 21-year-old brother marrying a young 20-year-old, and they're both immature in the mind, and I wouldn't suggest that. But I would suggest a situation where you got a young man who's kind of already on his stride, prepared to be able to sustain a family, to meet a young woman, and she could become who you saying that she's not ready to become. Because I believe that women are bright enough and smart enough to be able to do that at a very young age. I do not want them to wait till they're 30 years old, 28 even, to start thinking about marriage at that point. Because it's going to take some time to find somebody. And then when you find them, you got to get to know them. And then by that time, you're talking about women. That doesn't make any sense to me, Dana.
If she's 28, even if she's 25, and she's just focusing on, preparing herself for a
education and education. I want education.
I'm not talking about education. Just throw education
I am.
out. Preparing herself for a man,
being a good wife,
for a marriage. My thing is, before you part of knowing you have to know yourself. That is something that you cannot, as a man, dissect as a woman, just like me as a woman cannot dissect you as a man knowing yourself. But the fact is that a 21-year-old woman today, in general, even if she is mature, whatever that may look like, because I could throw some pushback on that, she may not want to. She may not want to get married and have children at that moment. In a few years, her body is tight, her boobs are firm, honey, because when you had that baby, them boobs drop. But she may want to enjoy her youth and get a
Why would she want? Why though? Like,
look,
and my thing, if I'm 21 and I'm
hold on. Oh, we're gonna go to E Black and then I'll come to you. Oh, go ahead. Finish up, Dana.
Listen to this real quick. If I'm 21 and I'm graduating college, sometimes you meet someone and you fall in love or that. But say if I
hot girl summer, huh?
No, I said if you meet someone and you fall in love. But if you have not, that don't mean you got to be hoeing around. But the fact is that you want to kind of build up something for yourself, and you
by doing what?
Thinking about marriage.
So what is a young 21-year-old graduate is going to be doing between 21 and 28 or 30 besides hot girl summer?
Well, if she wants to do hot girl summer, then she's not thinking about marriage. If she wants to,
you told her don't think about it.
Have to think about hot girl summer. She's going to be traveling. She's going to be working. She's going to be building up her nest, her financial nest. She's going to be doing everything else, and she's going to be getting.
Dana, you are that woman that advises you are the woman that I believe are ill advising these young ladies. That's just how I feel.
I don't advise. No, I don't do that. I don't advise. No,
I know, because you don't even talk about this on your channel, but they're hearing it.
Exactly. But even I'm talking about in real life. When I come across young women, I don't tell them, "Oh, don't get married." The first thing I ask them is, "What do you want?" And they can't answer that question. Very nice. I know, and men complain about there's no good women. I see a lot of good women. Very lovely women, feminine, whatever. But you ask them, "What do you want?" They don't know.
Got you. So, go ahead, E Black.
With all due respect, the real Dana, I think when you say know yourself, I think some of the skills that a lot of people gain when they're single have no relevancy in a marriage. A lot of the masculine things that I'm doing now are strictly based on the mentality of a masculine man. And a lot of the things that I'm watching my wife do, I see her using her skills. All the stuff, she went to college, she graduated, she doesn't use none of those skills that she learned to learn herself. The person that she is today, the most skills that she has today are based on her and her relationship with me. The way that she's showing grace, the way that she's able to listen. All of these skills are learned through a relationship with me. The things that you learn about yourself, you may see, she's seen the Eiffel Tower. She's seen that stuff, but none of that stuff really matters in a marriage, in a fruitful marriage. They're just memories on a postcard. So I understand your point that, you know, there is this idea of learning yourself, but I would counter to say that you really don't learn yourself until you're making sacrifices for another human being.
How can I make a sacrifice for you if I don't love myself? So part of learning yourself, I'm just on the surface with the education and the traveling. What if I come from an abusive family? What if I was raped or molested? I'm not going to tell you that. I may act differently. I'm going to have a wall up. I may be a completely different person because I want a man in my life for security, but I never fixed myself.
The thing
See,
is
that
that you
goes
learn.
that goes untouched. That's not even addressed in women. I'm focusing on women, but that's not even addressed in a lot of women. That's
The
all
thing,
good saying it on YouTube, but I think we are taking it from our own personal individual experience that we go through, and that's fine. But I'm actually bringing in other aspects that are going on in real life.
and I respect that, you know. But like I said, you know, the dealings with abuse, past life, those things you have to deal within your relationship, and you learn
Right.
better how to deal in those relationships. You may learn how to deal with past transgression and trauma in the real world at your job, how you feel like you may need to take vacations and you may need to decompress from your work, and all that stuff is fine. But when you get into a real relationship, those are when the real problems come on. And those are how you really solve those issues.
I disagree because
Okay.
Go ahead. Oh,
you're not responsible for my happiness. I'm not responsible for your happiness. So if I didn't fix internal issues and I'm carrying that over, you can't fix that. A man is not going to fix that.
I agree,
Okay.
but
Thank.
I'm responsible for providing the proper environment. Trust me, we've had to carry on my issues in our relationship, and me and my wife had to deal with it. I've had to carry on her relation issues in her past, and we've had to deal with it. But we deal with them together. You can't do it all yourself sometimes.
well,
See, I think
go ahead. Yeah,
Dana,
go ahead. Oh.
you identified a problem that with women not being mature enough, and I don't think that's the right word we should use. But and so like then you want to come up with a solution. Okay, how we fix that? And your solution was wait till you're 30, and like life don't work like that. The outcomes that we want are for people to get back together. We want people to get old together, and to do that, he goes to Jared. So that's what the jingle says. He went to Jared. So a man does the choosing for who he takes home forever, and he's not. There's not a whole lot of options of the men that you want at 30 years old for you to say, okay, now I'm gonna go to the store and get you one, because he gonna get what he want. Like you finding yourself, the Bible says, right, that a man who findeth a wife, she has already be one, find it a good thing. She has already be that. So it ain't about you being happy or finding yourself. You find yourself inside of that marriage with that man that you with, and he helps you heal whatever traumas you've been going through because he's the right person for you. And you're going to get those things. Once you're giving him the deal that he want, he going to give you the deal that you want. And then you in turn love yourself and find happiness. And those are like results of y'all being together for the right reasons. You ain't going to get together for the right reasons at 30 after you've already, like, what do you expect to gain waiting till 30 years old that a man's going to want from you? Like,
Hot girl
he's going to
summer.
want some fun time with you, but he's not going to want to put an investment on your finger and take you for the rest of your life and plan your retirement and all that. Like, he's not doing it at 30.
Who
This is a
told you
bad
that?
deal.
So no women are not getting married at 30.
Why
I
do you
didn't
always
say
got to?
not,
Why do y'all
nothing's
always go to
absolute.
absolute? Why do y'all do
Nothing's
that,
absolute.
Dana? Why do you do
Because
that?
he is. Because
Don't
he is. He
exaggerate.
just did
No,
it.
but
Nah,
but we,
nah,
but
nah.
we are
Exaggerate.
mature enough to know that he's
Exaggerate.
not talking. Dana, we are all mature enough that he's not talking about
Yes.
everybody. But your response
It's
always go
acceptable.
to everybody. Why
Because
do?
we're using. Wait 1 second. We're using the age 30 because I reference American. She's a psychiatrist, Frances Cress Welsing, right? Black woman, passed away, but I'm using the age 30 average. So the fact is that this is a generalized conversation. So we are generalizing it. But the
Yeah,
fact is that, so since we're
the majority.
generalizing it, the majority of women, when they reach 30, if they were working on themselves, they are a better person than someone who never worked on themselves. Whether you
And you're suggesting, are you suggesting that the majority of 23-year-olds are not prepared?
How no, they're not. Today, 23? Of course not.
But this is the
my.
thing though, like it goes
I
back
don't
to what he
believe
said
that.
initially. Like if we're gonna look at the scenario,
That's because
where,
they
like, when I
listen
was
to
20
aunties and mamas like you that say,
Well,
"Don't, girl, don't."
Mama's probably doing hot girl summer too.
Right, but so like for myself, me being married at 20 years old, that was a bad deal for any woman. And the real solution was, had I had a mentor in my life at an early age, I wouldn't have made a decision. And we go back to the same premise with the young girl. Her mother should be getting her ready to be a wife. Her grandma should be getting her ready to be a wife. She should be learning how to be a wife. So when she's age of 23, she's not worried about finding herself. She's worried about finding a man. And that man's gonna help her turn her into what she's supposed to be, because you're here to be what he needs you to be. That's the purpose of why a woman's here anyway, though, right? Not to find herself.
Not you. Oh, that Jonathan person was like, she has no evidence. What is he? I just referenced Frances Cress Welsing. You never even heard of her. You probably don't even read. Please don't come at me saying I don't have data, honey. Hashtag Dana with the data. Google it. Don't play.
I like that. I like Dana with the data.
Dana.
But, I mean,
Okay.
Go ahead.
Mr. O, you weren't ready.
Mhm.
She wasn't ready, and her some families, especially now, this current climate, they are not pushing their kids to marry at a young age. I'm not pushing my son to do it. Well, he won't listen to me anyway. He's not ready, right? My daughter, she got married at 19. Still married, 4 kids.
How long?
Total opposite of me.
How long? How long she's been married?
10 years, 19.
So you got a daughter. So hold on. So you got a 29-year-old daughter. You got a 28, 29-year-old daughter who got.
They met at 18. No, they got married at.
That's fine.
19.
That's fine. You
Can't
splitting
make
hairs.
this
You
up.
splitting hairs. Let me get to my point.
This up.
So you telling me that you sitting here arguing with us, and you yourself got a 19-year-old, you got a 29, 28-year-old daughter who's been married for 10 years with 4 kids, and she was bright enough to make it happen?
No, me and her father opposed.
It ain't about you and her father, right? It's about her and her husband.
It sure wasn't, honey, because she was over 18 and he was able to provide. So because when your kids get grown, they're gonna make their own decisions, right? So
Who was able
Would
to
you tell her to
provide?
go back and not do
Who,
the same thing?
who was able to provide? Her husband?
her husband,
And how old was he?
the same age.
He was. Oh, he was.
Not
That's.
African American.
Oh,
Rare.
well, there. Okay.
He's not.
So you said that. So you got it. You have an example out of your own house of a young woman that was bright enough and in tune to it herself enough that she got married in a successful marriage, unless they are currently going through a divorce.
Successful.
I'm saying it is. They still
Yeah,
married.
They got
This
4
is like-
kids and they still
Every marriage is gonna go through rocky points. All of them gonna go through rocky points, but they didn't
They're
quit.
the same age.
I'm not gonna put her business out there, so I'm teetering on water here. But I'm just saying that yes, there are young women. Now I'll give you this, and this is why I'm giving my daughter as an example without going into deep in her business. She was more mature as far as being a mother at her age, because she had 2 kids back to back. But just seeing her being a mother, great mother, better than me, and that's what you want. You always want your kids to be better than you, right?
And she learned that from her mother.
Situation, huh?
She learned that from her mother, right?
Me, her dad,
Right.
and it was a village. So I'm not. I can't
That's
take
why
all
she
that
was
credit,
ready.
but
That's why
yeah.
she was ready at a young age to be married.
But then you have then what she's facing now is, who am I?
Would
So-
you tell her it don't matter who she is? Would
She'll
you
be
tell her to
fine.
go back?
It does.
Right. Would you tell her to go back and do it different?
I think she will go back and do it different.
I didn't.
No,
I'm not asking
would
about
you
her.
advise her?
Every
Well,
person.
I didn't advise her to get married. And when she got married,
No,
Would
but
you
he's asking you
advise her
about now.
to go back
He's asking
and
you
do it
about
different?
now, about data, and everybody that gets married young
yeah, but tell her to go back.
later on
They
will
think they
someday
missing
say
something.
they missing something. Everybody that gets
think they
married
missing
later
something.
on will think that they should have did it. Everybody thinks that their situation. All people think is the grass is greener on the other side. It's
No,
the older people like
not.
us who's supposed to say we've been through both sides and let me tell you which one is best. And so, like O was asking, would you today? Not did you advise her then? It doesn't matter. We asking today. Would you tell her, girl? No, I would have rather you not got married.
Yes.
You would.
She got 4 kids in a 10-year marriage.
At that young age.
I got you. I hear you. I hear you.
But now they're growing apart. They're separating.
No, I got you. I hear you.
You know, and that's life. That's life.
That's their business, and that don't mean that they're gonna stay apart forever. And I would tell her to stay.
Unless
I'm not-
it.
No, and this is what I'm saying. We're really, this discussion is really on a surface.
Yeah. Let's get off of this because this is it's too
Right.
personal. If this was a celebrity, we could talk about it all day.
On the surface, she was young and married for 10 years. Great mother. He provided. She stay at home mom. Homeschool, unschool. I couldn't do it. 4 kids.
That was a good
But
deal.
great mother. You know, so.
No, I get it, and that's why I suggest that young women, listen to older women who say they can do it, who said they did do it, or say they wish they had done it. That's why I want young women to not say. I don't want women to listen to older women that says, "Oh, I'm glad you shouldn't have done that." Because what happens is whether you say it, whether these women advise them directly or indirectly, whether it's saying, "Look, that's a problem," they get indoctrinated with this whole. I wish you would have. You should have got into yourself and learned more about yourself. But you went ahead and had children, and you went ahead and got married early, and you missed out on your youth and all of this. And it's like, nah, that's not how that works. Because the reality is, the older women today, it ain't working for them. Who it's working for are the young women who did get married. It's working for them. It's not working for the older women who waited and is out here right now in what, as they call, danger zones and no man lands, out here that's filling up all the dating apps and filling up all the speed dating events, and women out here clamoring for men that it ain't enough of men as it is, especially after you get rid of especially after you remove the homosexual men, the men that's in jail, the Pookies and the Ray Rays, and you just leave the good, decent guys out here for the women.
Well, I guess we're focusing on black men, but yeah, it's not that many. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
It ain't that many.
Yeah, well, that's the ones that want you.
Right.
Don't nobody else want black women.
I know a doctor. She's gynecologist / obstetrician doctor. She's in her 50s or whatever. She don't have kids, and she even said to me, she said the same thing. She was like, I put my career first, number one. She was like, and I lived the Sex in the City life, because she had a practice in Manhattan, everything, Columbia, Duke University graduate, and all that. And she was like, she would date men, have sex, but like, okay, get up the next day, you gotta go. And now that she's like probably 51 or whatever, she is engaged now, but she don't have children, and that boat sailed already for her to have children,
And there's a whole lot of them. It's more of them than not.
She's not trying to pull a Janet Jackson. So yeah, there are women, and I'm not talking about the ratchet, low grade, hot summer.
No, intelligent,
but there are
beautiful,
women out there.
smart.
Yeah. So I get what you're saying, but
it's a lot of them. It's a lot of them. It's that the scales tip heavier with her than the other way. That's why when you go out on, if I go, that's why that's why women are Sunday brunching it out the yin yang. That's why women is having girl trips. It ain't no such thing. The girl trips and all that kind of stuff is what's happening because it's so many of those doctors that's out there, and they sitting here and they high-five. And that's what some people would even claim, that the increase in lesbianism. It's a lot of women out there that just don't have men available for them because they took all that stuff and put it first before relationship. Your doctor friend that told you that she went through it and did the whole Sex in the City and that whole TV show and what it indoctrinated women with, and along with the Golden Girls and the rest of these, shows that this media that portrayed this wonderful life of without men. is a ton of them. If they're everywhere.
Without a committed relationship, but without marriage. Yeah, they had men. It just wasn't,
Well, yeah. You get everybody. Y'all could get a maintenance man. Ain't no problem getting a maintenance man, but ain't nobody sticking around too long. Go ahead, E Black.
Also, to my point.
Hey, I have some prior engagements that I want committed to, and I just wanted to chime in on the subject. It was a great topic, Shannon. I'm gonna check out on this one so you can bring some other people on. Okay.
All right, for sure, E Black. I'll holler at you later, bro. Thank you for joining us, man.
All right, take care.
Right.
I'm gonna pull Sheed. What up, Sheed?
What's going on, man?
What's happening? You working?
Okay. Yeah, man. I decided to pull up.
It's good to have you here, bro. We get the brothers. Sheed is what I call one of my day ones. First broadcast I ever did live ever. Sheed was the one that joined, and he's been at every broadcast ever since. So I appreciate you being here, bro.
Hey, pull up for the support, man. Like my name say, we here on the support, man.
What you got to say on the subject, Sheed?
Yeah, I'm kind of all over the place with this because the situation with women getting married, it's all depending on them. Just like she was saying with her daughter, you got to be more mature. I got married at 25. My wife is 4 years older than me. I like more or less older women because the younger women were, just weren't mature. So when it come down to it, I was mature in my thinking, the way I moved. It was only fitting that I had someone on that same level as me. It all depends on how you was raised too. When it come down to it, a lot of women and men are raised different, to the point where you might come out of bad environment, but you want to do better for yourself. So you're going to put in the extra work for you, to make your life better, because I wasn't raised with my father. My father passed, but I dealt with so many men when it came time for me to get married. Had a lot of men talking to me about it, older cousins, steel sharpen steel all day. I'm not finna be around a whole bunch of women telling me how to be a man, because eventually I'm just gonna be in there, sunboning whatever my wife say. She say, man, I want lobster tonight. I don't feel like getting lobster, it's too expensive. But because women told me, happy wife, happy life, nah, I can't, No
lobster. I mean, so you better get that lobster. You better get that lobster. Yeah. Keep her happy, Sheed.
Nah, I ain't doing that. We ain't going that way. We can work out something, but if I don't want lobster, nah, especially if I be like, nah, it ain't going that way. But dude, Gold Professor, I go to his channel a lot, and this guy, he has 9 laws of self-government. And rule number 3 is apply selfishness. Like I always say, that happy wife, happy life thing is funny because I can take care of my wife, take care of my kids, but if I don't take care of myself, how can they be happy? How can they prosper? If I'm doing the work, I'm putting in the work to provide for them, to give them a better life, and I'm not thinking about myself, I'm running myself dry, sick, working extra hours, doing too much, it's going to eventually come back on me. So it's got to be a compromise. And in most cases, like I always say, a lot of women always complain about this whole submissive and all that stuff. I just say use the word understanding. The point when it comes down to it, a woman can be deemed to say, I'm not listening to no man, this and that. That's cool. I'm not going to marry you. And knowledge of is key. You was right.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to go into a relationship, I got to know who I am. I got to know what I'm capable of doing. If I need help in other areas, same thing with the woman. You can sit down. I sat down with my wife. I named a lot of flaws she had. She named the stuff I had. Are you willing to work with me and I work with you? That was the key. We've been married for 15 years now. The whole point of it is everything's not going to be perfect in a marriage. A lot of people say, man, you picked soulmate. It's a beauty. Nah, you're going to be sometimes where, you're going to have to cry in the car. But at the same time, man, it gives you composure from not trying to do something that you'll regret. And a lot of people don't understand. Like, talking with me, it's nothing wrong with that. I've talked to a lot of guys who've been in bad relationships, and they all let me know key things. Man, sometimes it's gonna get easy, sometimes it's gonna get hard. I did this, it was wrong. So, you know, like the old saying, eat the meat, spit out the bones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I appreciate it. Jonathan hit us with another super chat. I be wondering where y'all get all this money. Y'all, I got some millionaires on here. Jonathan be just dropping bread everywhere he go. He says, Dana, instead of name dropping a random academic, how about you reference a paper and or a study? I bet you won't. You're just yet another dysfunctional older women misleading the younger women.
Right. And then I don't lead anybody but myself, baby. And you was really in your feelings to go in your wallet and donate $50 just to say that. So
why you using them why you using them sign language? Why you using sign language? You ain't got to do that.
What sign language?
Shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. Why you got to drop the $50?
So it's okay for him to insult me. Should try to shame me.
No, I'm saying speak to what he's saying.
It's okay for him to try and shame me, insult me. Because before he dropped that, you know what I'm saying? He was so-called trying to shame me, thinking that he's right. He doesn't agree with me, and that's fine. You don't have to agree with me. But don't sit up here and think that I'm not intelligent or I'm dysfunctional. See, that's where that's where the waters get muddy right there. That's the problem right there. Have a discussion and keep it moving.
Jonathan, she wants you to pull up. She wants you to pull up, Jonathan. No typing, no keyboard warrior. She wants you to pull up and explain it to her.
I mean, but it's like, if you don't agree with me, okay, we can have that discussion. But what makes you think I'm dysfunctional?
Well, he's talking about the not so much with the. Let me go pull up the super chat again. He said 2 points. One, instead of name dropping a random academic, how about you reference a paper or a study? That's that.
Right.
And then he goes to say,
the ICE paper and go look up Frances Cress Welsing and read all of her research.
Okay. And then the second point he was making was, he said, I bet you won't do that. He said, you're just another dysfunctional older woman misleading younger women. So he's talking about in the function. He's talking about in the manner in which you're describing like 20
you could
kids.
It, Shannon, but the thing is, don't sit up here and call somebody a dysfunction. You're not a therapist. You're not an MD. So who are you to say somebody is dysfunctional? I never said that, I'm leading young women. That's not even my platform on YouTube. So if you can have a discussion, me and Mr. O, we don't agree. But is he calling me dysfunctional or is he calling me a name? No. So I don't care how much money you have and how old you are, what your experience is, you out of pocket.
Jonathan, pull up. Explain it to her.
No, let him drop some more money and explain it. I know. She tries to shame me. Boy, bye.
Yeah, because you saying when you say you got to pay to say something, that's.
Call you a Dusty.
Oh yeah. Well, there you go. Call him a Dusty. There you go. Now that's more equivalent.
Dusty,
but to be like on some, but you got to pay to play. That's not. Don't do that. Listen. My point is this. And let me be clear. Let's get back to the 50-50 thing. I do not believe in the 50-50 thing. I don't subscribe to the 50-50 thing. I don't advise men to subscribe to the 50-50 thing. That's why it's important for me to teach young men that they need to get to the bag first. I believe that men should be able to care for everything within the household. And maybe it's because I saw my father doing that, and I know a lot of women who may look at that as maybe I'm a tyrant, maybe I'm controlling, maybe I'm just trying to be in charge of stuff. But I'm a navigator. And I'm a pilot. It's interesting that she brought up something about how can the family be happy if the head of the household's not happy? If he's so busy trying to make a happy wife, happy life, but he's the one providing, does that make any sense? When you look at a crashing airplane, everybody that gets on the airplane, they got the flight attendant that explains to them what they need to do, and in the case the oxygen comes down, who do you put the oxygen mask on first? Do you put the oxygen mask on your children, or do you put the oxygen mask on yourself? If we were all in the airplane and the plane was crashing, who do we make sure is good? The pilot or the passengers? I would suggest that we make sure that the pilot is good. The pilot of the airplane needs to make sure, we need to make sure he got all the oxygen he needs. He got all the safety that he needs, because it's the pilot that's navigating the plane. In a relationship, in a marriage, in a household, who is important? Whose happiness is most important? I think is what Sheet is trying to say. If dad is miserable, if he don't want to come home, if he's fighting for sex and he has to beg for a blowjob, if he gets home after a late night and there's no food to eat, and if there is food to eat, it's cold. All the kids ate, the wife cooked, everybody's fed, but there's some scraps left over for dad, who's paying the bills for everybody to live there. How can that work out? That's why I believe in everything that Sheed said, you got to make sure that the pilot is taken care of before you make sure the passengers are taken care of, or everybody's going to die, including the kids. Everybody in the relationship is going to crash and burn. And that's why I tell people that 100% needs to go on the man. Now, that's not to say that I don't think that women should do what they want, or women should be slaves to their husbands. I believe that men should retire their husbands. I believe that a wife should be able to do whatever she wants to do, but not be forced to do anything. I don't want no pressure on my wife or my woman. You know, I don't want no pressure on her shoulders to make sure that she got to cover this bill, or go out there and make sure the car insurance is good, or she got a full tank of gas. I don't want that. She don't need that kind of pressure. I'm built for that. I enjoy it. I'm happy to take care of that. I don't want her to have that. A lot of women ask about resting in their divine femininity. I also don't believe in conditional femininity. I don't think that women should somehow become feminine because I'm being masculine. You're supposed to already be feminine. And that therein lies a whole nother discussion as to why relationships aren't working. But in the event that you get into a situation or a relationship where you have a feminine woman and a submissive woman and a woman that is doing her wifely duties, and you got a man who's masculine and doing everything he's supposed to do to be a great husband, I believe all the pressure of the world should lie on that husband's shoulders. That's what I believe. Is there anybody that don't believe that, though? I've seen in the chat there's a few brothers out there that feels that, you know what, if women are out there working, then why can't they contribute? Or why can't they, they should be required. I know that I got a good friend of mine, one of my closest friends, his name is Shuby. He calls it Shuby Dutch. Now, he covers everything once he's married, but in the dating process, he said it's 50-50 all the way through. Is there anybody out there that feels that women should contribute equally to the relationship, since women want equality? Pull up. I want to hear your point.
Even want to work. I don't think women want jobs. I think that they want some security in case it go wrong, because they all thinking it gonna go wrong. But I don't think women really want to go to work. And I don't know no man that want his wife to get instructions from anybody else, the pastor, her boss. Nobody should be able to call your house and get your wife to do anything but you. And if in a perfect world it was that way. It's becoming more imperfect of a time to even live in now. It's just chaos. It's out of order everywhere. And I'm terrified of what's gonna happen in the next few years. I'm glad I'm not gonna be here in 100 years.
Well, I
I'm
like
not.
what you were saying, Shannon. I think the question should be then, what do men want? And can men answer that question?
Well, I think men haven't changed. I don't think the onus is on men. So what do men want? We've been telling y'all forever. We want.
But you just said some men don't go by your philosophy. Some men.
Oh. In that regard, I'm thinking that you're talking about women, but you're talking about it in regards to the relationship. You know what, Dana? I think younger modern men is who I'm really speaking at. I think because again, I'm born in 1972, so I watched it. I grew in the 70s. Things were different. We had TV shows called Who's the Boss. You know what I'm saying? We literally, I grew up on, as we said yesterday, Good Times, and I knew how James Evans was with his wife, Florida Evans, and JJ and Janet Jackson and all. So that's what I grew up on. I watched what was it called? What was the TV show? Moving on up, moving on up.
The Jeffersons.
The Jeffersons. So I knew, George Jefferson was the boss of the household. And so I'm different today, though, based on the TV shows that millennials watch and people who were born in the 80s. And because all of that stuff started shifting over to the Cosby Show. It started shifting. Yep. Yeah, it started shifting. See, it started shifting over to the Cosby Show. It started shifting over to
you would consider
Family
Claire
Matters.
A modern woman. Claire Huxtable.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Oh hell yeah.
But she was
Claire Huxtable.
She still cooked. She still tended to her family, her children, her husband.
She was a hybrid. She was used as a transition to get away from Florida Evans over to Sex in the City.
A career-driven woman, or professional career woman, because the Good Times, they were poor, living in the projects. The Cosbys, you're talking about upper middle class black family with,
and that don't work. And that's what I'm saying. And the Cosby and everybody that tried to do a Cosby Family didn't work. Cosby, that shit is bullshit. That's fantasy.
I think was TV, but the concept of it, if I'm going to try to make it a little bit reality, with the marriage between I'm saying Bill Cosby, but
Claire
the
Cosbys,
and the father,
Cliff and Claire,
when they were in college, right? They dated when they was in college. So when she graduated college, she didn't go to law school because he was in medical school. And then when he finished medical school and was working, then she was able to go to law school. So she did put her career aside for her husband. Mm-hmm. So in that aspect, you're talking about humble beginnings. So now the dynamics today, right? You see a lot of people meeting in the height of their career. So nobody wasn't there in the gym in the beginning before the championships. So you do come in with a lot of entitlement and selfishness on both sides. Got you.
Let me be clear. The Cosby Show, blueprint doesn't work. The Cosby Show blueprint don't. The whole
unless you come from humble beginnings.
Even if you come from humble beginnings, I'll give you an example. I tell this all the time. My own brother got married from humble beginnings. My brother and his wife, and they had a deal together. They had a Cosby Show deal. You go to school and I'll work. This is because there's 5 of us. There's 5 brothers. I'm the youngest. My next brother up, Mark. You go to school and I work. And then once you go to school and finish your degree, you work and then I go to school. So my brother went out there and slayed the dragon. He's out there in Palmdale, California, doing everything he's supposed to do. House, children. He took on his sister's kids. He's bought a house, bought a Hummer. He was doing everything right. They was buying multiple properties. Everything was perfect. He was doing his job, working and working and working. And she went to school. And then when she got her degree, she said, well, wait, let me go ahead and get the master's. It's easy. It's only another 2 years. He's like, okay. All right, go ahead and get the master's. I'll go back. So he's back out there slaying dragons, right? 2 more years. She got her master's. I believe she went out there and grabbed another master's. Just 2 more years. Now we 8 years into it. It's like waiting on his turn.
She could have been a doctor.
Waiting on his turn to go out and do his thing. But he's out there. He's doing what he's supposed to do, being a faithful husband, bringing home the bacon, making sure everything is right. She goes and screws the hood nigga. When it's his turn to go to school and do everything, and he's blindsided because he thinks he's happily in love. And as you said, we won't get too deep into family business, but that divorce is being finalized right now, and this has been going on since 2006, huh?
And those are common outcomes.
Are you guys hearing the audio breakups, or is that just me? Is the audio clear on everybody, or is there a pop?
I can hear you.
Okay, hold on. Let me change my earpiece.
Who said they couldn't hear him?
It might be me. I got some background.
So, Mr. O.
Yep.
Do you want to get married again or no?
I want a good deal. I don't know if that's the best deal right now.
It is a deal.
I
It's
think
a business deal, Mary.
It is. I just want a good deal. And that's what I currently aspire to have. And that's what I'm going to keep around me. Just a good deal on both sides. Whether if it's marriage, at some point, it would definitely have to make sense. But I doubt it. I don't see that in today's time. We got so far away from why it was created. I don't think it'd ever go back to that. I think now we just need to focus on getting good deals on both sides, and women need to realize early that you got that one lifetime to get that deal, whereas men, we got kind of like three. I know I was a different person at 20, at 30, and now at 40, and I wouldn't trade this for nothing in the world. I wouldn't never go back to my 20s. I wasn't worth nothing, but now
I'm back.
my most valuable, just as you were when you were 20. You know, so to find somebody that a male that has that understanding now, and a woman that's ready to be a wife and not find herself, that's a good deal for those two people. And getting married kind of makes sense, as long as we know what the outcome that we want is. And that's for when I get cancer, you help me in and out the shower and change my bags, and the future is secure. You know, the finances is secure, because you got to afford to die. Like, you got to afford to get old and die. That's not free. People think that's free, and like, are you more concerned on finding yourself or like having retirement?
So listen, what I was saying was, and so it was my AirPods.
Because if
it was
you
my
wait
AirPods that
until
was the
30
problem.
to find a man, like, you risking your retirement, because there ain't a lot of the men that you want to help you secure that, and you ain't gonna be able to secure it by yourself.
Well, how am I risking my retirement if by the time if I have a nice career, right? And
Most women need
college to have
two
a
incomes.
career. But if
Most women are gonna need that man's income to do that.
If I don't have children and it's just me, and I have, let's say, an engineering degree, and I'm making the same amount as he is with an engineering degree, so, and I'm 25, and I'm managing my money well, so I'm not.
Dana, how many women are in STEM?
Exactly. Go to any college you want to right
Ain't
now.
nobody
Go
in
an
STEM.
engineering class.
Let me finish.
They're doing
Go
social
every
stuff. They're
engineering
doing all
class
these.
in
They're
the
taking
country.
basket
full of men
weaving.
in
They're
there
getting
foreigners.
they're getting a master's degree in basket weaving. They're not. Women are not in STEM. You using these examples that are small. You using these examples. You using minute examples to make a point. You talk
What if
about.
she was an astronaut? You can't do that.
That's what I was saying. Because if that's part of finding herself, what do she have? What are you coming into a relationship with that you accumulated yourself? That's very important.
Somebody got their audio. We getting feedback.
Venus Williams found herself. Tracy Ellis Ross found herself. Vivica Fox found herself. Claudia Jordan's finding herself right now too. Like, but they're not getting.
Was married.
Thing about those women is they have the money to die, to get old. They are rich. You can't advise this to every woman to go find, but they got money, so they don't got the same concern. That's not most women.
Did they have money at 25? Probably so, because Tracy Ellis Ross married into money. Venus, she was.
They could die by themselves. They don't got to worry about retirement. They good. That don't apply to them. We can't apply those principles to advise most women to follow those paths.
You have to have it all together financially when you're 30. What I'm saying is, you have to have something.
But you showing your chances on finding that type of man.
No.
Wait, hold on. Oh, you stepping on her. Let her finish.
Finding yourself. There are too many females out here that don't have nothing, and they think that their looks and their youth is going to grab them a man, and it's going to be all good. You don't know how to manage finances. You don't know how to run a household. You don't know how to cook. You don't know how to take care of a man in a relationship.
You're not gonna learn that in college. You ain't gonna learn that as an engineer. You damn sure. You really ain't gonna learn it as an engineer.
You not have to go to
And
college.
dating.
But you need to accumulate something.
So Dana, but Dana, are you hearing what you're saying? Like, all the things that you're saying, hear me out. All the things that you just listed needs to be something that she acquires and learns and be focused on early on. But then the thing that you're telling her to do is to learn herself and go get an engineering degree and make sure that you're good for retirement.
My my words. Stop.
No, Dana, that's what you're essentially saying. You're arguing one point using a different example.
You wasn't listening to our conversation when I was talking about the engineer. I was just giving an example of a woman and at 25 making engineer money.
Yeah, because he was talking about retirement. I heard the whole thing.
Yeah,
he was talking
about retirement. She's building her nest egg. Not her nest egg isn't flourished by the time she's 30, but the fact is that she's coming into a relationship with something. It don't have to be complete. It don't have to be all there. But you gotta have something.
That's not working out for women today.
Would you want your son to deal with a woman that work in Walmart? Who's
Yes.
Section 8?
Yes. Let me tell you something. Yes. No.
Aspirations.
First of all, listen.
She don't even know how to deal with a man.
No. So hold on. She's not gonna learn that in college. Let me answer your question directly. She's not gonna learn that in college. One. She's gonna, but
college has nothing to do with it.
Because that's what I'm saying. You keep using one example. I mean, you keep making one argument, but using a different example. You're making one argument. Go back and play the replay. You'll hear yourself making an argument using a different example. Let me be clear. You asked about a Walmart girl, right? You asked about a Target girl. You talked about a basic cashier. But then you said she don't know how to handle a man. She can work at Walmart because she got to pay her rent. She got to eat. She got to pay her cell phone bill. But if she concentrates on being marriage minded, on being a wife when she's young, she will know how to be a wife. You're telling women that don't worry about that. Don't be marriage minded. You're saying don't be marriage minded.
I did not say don't be marriage minded, but
until you're 30.
That should not be your sole focus when you got to figure out who the hell you are. How is she supposed to listen?
It doesn't matter.
Working at Walmart. Give me solutions. How are women supposed to be marriage minded?
I'm gonna tell you this. That's not what it's about. I'm gonna tell you this. You can. If the perfect man exists somewhere in the range of an engineering degree and $250,000 a year, in shape, no kids, if that's the perfect guy, I'm gonna tell you 9 out of 10, that guy, if he had the choice of a 30-year-old woman with 2 masters and a girl working the drive-thru at Walmart, at McDonald's, as long as she can make a sandwich and she shut up when he was around his boys and she stayed in shape, he's going to choose her. 9 out of 10. And he don't care that she found herself by 30 and she got 2 masters and she got her own retirement. I'm telling you what men that
just on those little bit of requirements, she works at Walmart, she's staying in shape, and she
make a sandwich.
She's fit, feminine, friendly. She's fit, feminine, friendly, faithful, and fun.
Can I jump in?
If she got a gym membership and she can make a sandwich and she quiet, I'm taking her.
And
$250 a year, engineers not marrying that.
I am. I don't care if she's working the drive-thru at McDonald's.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he
is. This is my friend. You're talking about my friends. You're talking about my circle of friends out here in LA.
I'm talking about my circle of friends too and associates.
But you're not talking to men. Men is gonna tell women one thing. Listen. Listen, Dana, let me explain something to you. And so, and I'll give you a scenario. I'm a film producer. Well, I used to be a film producer out here in Hollywood. I'm in Hollywood, and I hang around millionaires. And a lot of them are single, and they all. Let me tell you a story that I used to tell people on Clubhouse. At Sony Picture Studios, which is in Culver City, right off of Venice Boulevard, Sony Picture Studios, they have their headquarters for making movies. There's a building that most of all the executives work out of. On the upstairs, there's male executives. They're usually, executive vice president of marketing, executive vice president of television production, of film production, overseas acquisitions, all these different people, young people, all of them making about $250,000 a year on average. The women, I remember having this discussion at happy hour years ago. The women did not understand why the men that work in the same department on the same floor, even at Universal Studios or Paramount around the corner over off of Melrose, did not want to date these girls. Instead, you know who these guys was going for and marrying? The security officer down at gate 3. The little young, cute security guards that were, you know who they were dating and marrying? The PAs, the production assistants at Deal or No Deal. That's who they were interested in. Now, women would think Why would you want to fuck with her? You're on your way to become a multi-million-dollar producer. Why do you want to date that little flighty security girl that works at the gate that turns up the turnstile and let cars in and out all day? And you don't want to date me, who's an executive vice president of acquisitions for the northern region. Because he don't want to deal with all of that, and all of that don't matter to men. You're asking would men with means, especially high value men, want the girl at Walmart? The answer is yes. Because the thing that men want.
20 years at Sears. Why you ain't pick one of them chicks up?
Well, I was already. Well, when you talking about back when I had got married, I had a girlfriend.
You had a girlfriend or you had a wife?
Well, she was a girlfriend when I was at Sears. She became a wife about a year later.
But what I'm
did I date them? Yes. Yes. Did I date the wait, no, did I date the cashier that worked there for 20 years? No, she was an old lady. There was them was all old ladies. Did I date the little young cuties that came in and was just a floor girl and cleaning up?
Right, you dated them, but what I see is when you look at the percentage of marriage and the type of wife that they're marrying, yes, you could date the security guard, the PA, or whatever.
That's who they're marrying. I said that.
Let me finish my point. But
Go
the
ahead.
fact is that when I look at marriages, men who make a certain income, and they can make more than their wife have a college degree. Their wife has something. Now I'm not disagreeing with
I thought you wanted to remove education. I said education, and you said I want to remove that.
No. What you said was true. As far as, yes, there are men who do date the security guard. But the fact is that doesn't mean they didn't date the girl that's the executive because she got too much career going on. It does have to do with attitude.
Yeah, that's all it has to do with. That's all. That's what it primarily has to do with. It's not so much that men don't want the woman because she's a boss in her own department. The problem is she's taking that shit home. So what men? So hear me out. But you can't remove this. This is all part of the equation. So what's happening is men are saying, fuck your degrees because your degrees is turning you into something that I can't live with.
Or fuck your attitude, because if she doesn't have a degree, there's still the ones who don't have degrees working at Walmart being security guard. They got a fucked up attitude.
No, they don't have that. But they don't have that. No, they don't. Dana, baby, listen. Dana, they don't have that.
And then she want to go to college, and then she want to go get her master's or whatever. So the fact, it has to do with your attitude.
That's all. Of course. Listen, it all has to do with your attitude, but what you're assuming that's what she's going to turn into, this monster. And I'm telling you, that's by and large not the case. I'm telling you, as a man who hangs out into this attitude monster, this girl from Walmart is going to turn into this woman that he.
I can tell you this about women right now. They put on a fucking front. Where they
we know.
Not. Okay then. So what I'm saying to you is,
if I have to deal with it, if all of y'all is gonna turn on and put on a front, I'm gonna fuck with the one that's not giving me an attitude for as long as possible. I'm not gonna date the one that's giving me that's gonna give me all that masculine energy in the dating process. I don't want her, because I'm gonna end, especially if I'm gonna end up in the same boat anyway.
She's giving you that energy during the dating process. Why would you marry her? Why would you choose her if she's giving
Dana, it's almost like this is going in one ear and out. It's almost like you're missing.
And she can make a sandwich and she's quiet. That's why we choose her.
The girl with the college degree who don't have an attitude, and the girl who works at Walmart who don't have an attitude, right? They both full of shit. So when you do marry her and then you start seeing a real her, then when you divorce the one that has the executive salary, you don't really gotta pay her no fucking alimony, but the one who worked at fucking Walmart, you gonna be paying out the ass because she didn't come in with shit.
That's
a
lie.
Talking about divorce.
That's a lie.
Yeah, first of all, you already setting up divorce.
Okay.
And hold on, let's let Sheet in here, but let me land this one point, Sheet, before you go. Dana, what you're assuming is that this executive don't have an attitude. They do. There's a whole. They do. They
I'm
do.
telling you, women, period. Women don't matter degree or no degree.
How long have you been
These
dating
women are
women?
Matters.
How long have
enslaved.
you been dating
He
women?
has a degree.
I'm telling you how it is. I'm telling you I'm telling you what these streets is like. I'm
Dana,
telling you what
women
these streets
that
is like and what we dealing with. But hold on, hold on, oh. Let's let she wanted to chime in. Go ahead, she.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So basically, like this. Go back to what you were saying earlier. Well, I'm gonna touch this topic right here.
I love
For
me some
one,
Dana, boy.
if a woman that works at Walmart or an executive, whoever, has an attitude, I just won't deal with him. That's the thing. Like my cutoff game is strong. Like I dealt with a lady. She was a therapist. I broke up with her on the first date because she was rude to the waitress.
Therapist. Oh.
And look, I knew I could get it. She already told me I was gonna hit and everything. I knew the lady for a minute. But my thing of it was, I'm not the average guy. I would have been like, man, I'm just gonna hit this thing, going by my business. Nah, I couldn't even do that. Like, I always talk about having oops babies. I might fool around. Just one time I hit condom breaks or something, and dang, 18 years. So my thing, her attitude with that lady showed me who she really was. Cause all that giggling and smiling and stuff she was doing in my face, that was the disguised
Real
game
her.
as you talked about. Yeah. So when I seen the real her, I didn't even want nothing to do with it.
And
But going
they
back to
tend
what
to show
you
up
were saying,
faster with them professionals.
yeah. But
I wanted to say
going back to
this.
what you
Shannon
were
got
Hold
saying,
on, oh,
something
hold on, oh,
to
hold on, oh.
say.
Hold on, oh. Go ahead, she land
go,
your point.
Man,
going back, I got 2 points. Then I'm gonna drop down because I got to get in some work. But
Okay.
going back to what you were saying earlier, having sex. I tell women like this, I tell my wife this all the time. When you cut off the water and I'm thirsty, I'm gonna get some water. So whether I get it from you or I get it from another woman, the choice is yours. So you can't cut off my supply and think I'm gonna be faithful. That's a given. I don't understand that with women. They want monogamous relationships, but they want to control the sex. All you're doing is pushing your man to cheat. So when he cheats, you can't get mad because you encourage it. They can say all day, well, I didn't say, well, he could have talked to me. He did. You didn't want to listen. So that's a cutoff. And my thing with the 50-50 is this. I got my wife all day. My wife, she had a surgery and she was out of work for a whole year. Some complications happened. She was out of work for a whole year. Her whole family was asking me like, you got it? You need some help with the bill? I'm like, for what? Well, your wife not working. I'm like, when she was working, we was paying the bills. But they was like, well, you don't have that second income. I was like, I'm a man. I take care of stuff regardless. My wife worked because, for one, it's structured. I'm not gonna let you sit here all day in the house doing the Peggy Bunny eating buns and watching soap opera. Nah, we gonna work as a team and we gonna make this thing happen. You take the money, you gonna put on some of the bills, I put on some of the bills, and we have savings aside. Now, when it comes down to it, if it need be for you not to work, I deem it that way, then cool. Because that's a privilege. See, a lot of women don't understand. They think they should do that no matter. That's a privilege. A man letting you stay off of work, whether you have kids or not, is a privilege. And a lot of women don't deserve that privilege. Especially in a marriage. That's even more the degree where it hurts more that you're putting time and energy into someone and they're not doing right. Because it takes work for the communication, the ball to roll. A lot of women, they want this. I'm just gonna say it. A lot of women are selfish. They want what they want. I tell my wife that all the time. I say, compromise. We can work things out. I told her all day. She keep wanting a Mercedes. I said, I'll buy the Mercedes for you, but you got to pay for all the maintenance. All the maintenance. She don't do it. She always say, well, you can't give me half. I said no, because if I spend 50, 60, whatever thousand on the car and something goes wrong, whether it be a light bulb for 250 or something like that, you gonna have to pay it. I had a homegirl, she had a X6, neglected, didn't have a man, not to say the least, but she neglected her car. She messed up the rotors, the brakes, all on her car. She's like, I don't know why I was squeaking. I just thought it needed some grease on it. You know,
She
that
don't
that
need
was
no
her
man.
comment.
She didn't need no
Yeah.
man,
Hey.
as they say.
Hey, I think she needed a man when she had to pay almost $7,000 to replace all this stuff. She needed a man then. But yeah, man, I'm gonna go
She,
ahead and jump off, man. I
I
gotta get
appreciate you,
this
big
work.
dog. Thank you for
All
showing
right,
up,
no
man. I
problem.
appreciate you, man. Take care. You have a
Yep.
wonderful, wonderful day. Hey,
All right,
listen.
peace to everybody.
I want to hit this super chat real quick. I guess I'm learning the protocol. So we got Ant 26. He said, "Why do these modern women consistently put equal value on building a stranger's vision, her job and career, on the same footing as their own family?" Yeah, he's basically saying, why you care about making your boss rich, which is what you're doing when you go to work, as opposed to making your own family and putting your family first and foremost. And then we got another super chat from Jonathan again. He dropped another 50. Jonathan is the sponsor of the show. John says, one of the consistent patterns I see in corporate America, most of the non-black women in top positions are married for or on their way there, while black counterparts are chronically single. Let them find themselves, quote unquote, as they remain at the bottom. And then we have another super chat. Thanks, Jonathan, for that, man. Jonathan is dropping a lot of support for the channel. I appreciate you, bro. And then we have Jess Wright. She went out and said, black women who are accomplished in their jobs think they are the boss of the house. You all submit to your boss, but not to your husband or to your man. That was the kind of point that I was trying to put on Dana a little bit. Dana, that's what I was when I was trying to explain. So Dana, you gave two examples. And I know we're getting a little bit off topic of the 50-50, but you were saying basically if you got an airhead girl with no, and let's make her the worst and the best. If you got an airhead girl with no education, she's never gone to college, she don't know how to cook, she don't know how to clean, she don't know how to do nothing, but she cute. She got a cute little shape, and maybe sexually men will like that. And then you got this other woman who knows how to cook because she cooks for herself and she probably eats well, but maybe she's a little, because she works, she doesn't have the time to be off, get her hair done or go. So she's not as pretty visually as this other girl, but she has a career. She has a 401k. She's bringing in, let's say 85. Let's say she's bringing in $5,000 a month, $60,000 a year, and she's on her way to becoming to making 120,000, and she has a retirement fund and she has all of that. Both of them are sweet, nice girls. Which girl with the high value man want? By and large, clearly, most high value men is going to want the executive girl. Because physically, she can get in shape. You can be skinny one day and be fat the next. He's going to want that girl. If they both have attitudes and he likes her a lot, he's probably going to deal with the executive, but he'll be thinking about the sex from the pretty girl. But the thing is, that executive that we're describing, this one with the great attitude and whatnot, and I know that a lot of women put on facades and they show up with their representatives and whatnot, but those women are already married. Those women are the ones that's already scooped up. They're not available. They're the neighbors. Men has already dropped down on one knee and proposed to her. So what's left? The reality in these streets, and this is why I was asking you, Dana, how many women have you dated? Because, I've dated a few.
Women.
That's my point. I'm telling you what the streets is like from a man's point of view, and from my guys that I talk to point of view, from the millionaire buddies and men that make hundreds of thousands of dollars, friends of mine. Their point of view, what we argue and complain about, what my fraternity brothers complain about whenever we get together at our chapter meetings. The executive woman ain't as nice as you say she is. The nice ones are already wifed up. The executive woman, as that last super chat said, got an attitude at home, and we see it in advance. We see it in the dating process. The masculinity is not there. It's too much. The femininity is not there. It's too much masculinity. She's an alpha and she's bringing that shit home. The woman that's at the security gate, the girl that's a PA, the girl that's working at T-Mobile as a sales associate, the chick that's a cashier at Target, she tends to be a little bit more agreeable. Now, can she cook? Probably not as good as we'd like. Did she try to go to school? Hopefully she did. maybe she did a little bit of junior college, but she's more moldable, especially how depending on how young she is. We can get her on the program and we can create and make that woman or kind of like form that woman to be something that is more agreeable with us. That's why we want friendly. That's the F. I think Kevin Samuels uses he says I forget what term he says, but it's a good term. So we're looking for friendly women.
Have you seen the women that work in a T-Mobile lately? The young, cute ones. Have you seen their behavior?
Yeah.
It's a reason why they work in there, but
not much to pick from. That's not much
it's
to
a
pick
reason.
from. I do feel sorry for you guys. I feel sorry for us women too, because when we look at society as a whole, because I think sometimes men like to put it all on women and women like to put it all on men, but maybe that's my Libra sign. I'm very balanced. I don't blame one over the other. When we look at society as a whole, both sides are messing up, because I be damned if my son brings somebody from Walmart home, because I know what they look like. I know how their attitudes are, but I don't want him marrying a bitch either who thinks that she hot shit because she has all this money, or she has, a career, because you could be nice either way, but you really rarely don't really see it that much.
How old is your son?
Especially if you want to be specific and talk about the black people, the black community.
How old is your son?
I think he's 22 now.
Oh, okay, good. So he's young. 22. Are you making sure that your son is paying attention to his career and making money and being able to sustain a family?
Yeah, so right.
Good.
I tell him that, yes. Now,
hopefully dad is too.
Your kids, they go off, and when they grow, and he's out the house. He has his own place, he's out of state and everything. So they still want to make their own decisions, but the way they do carry some of the advice and the values that you instill in them. So I do still plug that in. He don't want no marriage. He don't want no kids.
Good.
Until he's 35, and that's
good.
And that's how. And men have that leisure. You can have kids when you're 50. You do have that leisure. I'm not denying that, But I'm just saying, with women, yes, there is a time that's clicking. What do you call it? A time clock or whatever. But what I'm saying is, you could push too soon and you could push too late. It's all about finding that balance. I got probably like 5 minutes and I have a meeting. This is
no problem. I knew you was gonna be spicy today. Go ahead. Oh,
comment. All right. So talking about the executive, just the point I wanted to make earlier, that engineer or she turned into the executive, I guess. The difference between her and the barista at Walmart, the executive, she has her retirement taken care of, but the little barista at Walmart or the barista at Starbucks doesn't. So we're going to choose her. You got to think, how did she get to be an executive? She competed with men throughout college and her whole career, and now at 35, she has a penis. That's one of the reasons why we don't want to take her home. That's the reason why men don't want their competitors. We don't want to take our competitors, our competition home. And that young girl that we ain't got to worry about the barista at Starbucks, her boss calling her back into the office at weird times. She got
Zoom calls.
To her work husband. Like, we got to deal with none of that. As long as that one at Starbucks stays in shape and she quiet, she can make me my favorite sandwich every day. I'm cool with that. I'm going to compromise on that more I am her attitude and her penis.
So, penis. I mean, and also, and I'll say this in closing, something quick, but what I do come across, whether, men are 50-50 or want to pay for everything, men are asking women, what's in your portfolio? What's in your wallet? Not that they want it. They do, and not on the first date.
They better ask.
Slide those questions in to see, are you balancing your checkbook?
You better.
I personally know men, and these are really older men, but it was a time when men didn't care. They didn't ask none of that, but they are specifically asking. And then younger guys, they do ask,
you're saying that men are asking women what's in her portfolio?
Yeah, not that they.
I thought you were saying that women are asking men. No, not my.
Women always try to ask men.
Okay.
Men are So say women ask that question, but men are turning around and like, well, what do you have? What do you
What?
bring?
Yes, that's, you know who that is? That's the modern man. I don't
That's
align with the.
well, me and you in the same generation. That's the
Yeah,
generation above that started doing that now. That's the young. All men, all
Nah,
generations now are doing
ain't no brothers our age asking no women what's in her portfolio unless that nigga's a dusty broke dude.
Okay, so our age group, they already have majority probably already been married, already had kids. So they're like, I know what I went through to this damn divorce or with this baby mama. I ain't trying to go through that shit again. What you got? Because you ain't dipping in my pockets like she dipped in my pockets. A lot of people learn lessons. Mr. O,
yeah.
he's one of them because he sat up here and said that, you know.
But I'm not asking those types of questions. But I mean, girls, I have a different vetting process. I'm gonna find out that type of stuff a different way. It's gonna be based on her habits.
You want to find it out. That's my point. Whether you ask directly or subliminally.
Yes, of course we're gonna find that out, but that is not a deal breaker. It is not a requirement.
It's not on the table.
It is not a deal. It's not even part of the questionnaire. That just is information that we find along the way. How much money she makes, what her portfolio, how much property she has. I don't give a damn about that. Ain't none of it gonna be mine no way. That doesn't matter to me. I need to know that.
If you don't plan on marrying her, it's not going to be yours. But the fact
if I met, no, I do plan. I date to marry. I do plan on marrying, but I know that that's still gonna be hers. That's still gonna be hers. That's how women. Have you ever heard of mad money? Men don't have mad money. Women have mad money.
Right.
Y'all do that. We don't do that. Y'all do that.
I come across men. Y'all see them red flags. You see those, you visit your girl, you go over her house or whatever. You see she got bills piled up just sitting there, not even open. Oh, when you gonna open this bill? What's that?
Dana,
like,
I agree.
Y'all see red flags and you ignore that because you're like, well, that's her shit. That ain't mine or whatever.
Dana, let me correct myself. The men that are asking women about what she got going on financially I said that's younger, more millennial men who usually grew up. Most of them don't have no money themselves, or they grew up around a boss mother who had to do it all. They grew up with a super mom, because that's how, especially in the black community, black women are superheroes. They have to do a lot of shit by themselves because dad ain't around. That's how it was in the 90s and in the early 2000s. These women were just doing amazing work. And so these young boys was watching their moms do this shit. And when they get old enough to start dating and marrying, they're looking for their mom. So that's why they're saying, what's in your portfolio? Because I know what's in my mama's portfolio. I know how hard my mom. No, that's what's happening. These are my young brothers in the fraternity. I talk to them every year. This is what's happening. So that's what they're looking for. But the correction I'm saying is the guys my age, 45 and older, the Generation X brothers that's asking that are the ones that don't have shit going on. Okay, it ain't the ones that got something going on.
Because, well, you got to add in another group of men. The men that are divorced and had to pay a whole lot of money in child support and alimony, or the men who had just baby mamas and they still had to pay a whole lot of money.
They not getting married again.
Exactly. And then, but even if they don't get married, it's like if they're dating a woman, they do not want a woman constantly saying, "Can you pay this for me? Can you pay that?" Man, that's a turn off.
All right.
Like, it's not. You can't pay your cell phone bill. You actually pay for your nanny and pet. You actually
man. Ain't no man tripping. That's like, so you saying that what you saying is essentially is men are upset that they.
But he's taking note to like, this a broke bitch. Because if he said he's buying his wife the car, you buying her $60,000, yeah, pay that $250 light bulb. Now, so the fact that you can't pay that, I'm not buying you that. Honestly, men don't want a woman that always got her hand out because she needs something.
I think he was saying that because he was trying to teach her discipline, but most people are average anyway, so that's why you need both of the income. It was more about discipline.
So listen, we have a super chat. Let me hit you with another super chat. Yeah, you guys are blessing me with the super chats. I don't know how to thank you guys on here.
It's not for me though. It is for you.
I don't know. I'm about to put it up, but I almost want to. I'm gonna start sending out, because I have a fashion brand. And I make clothes. I'm gonna start sending T-shirts and clothes Cause everything I wear is I make. So I'm gonna start sending y'all stuff. Cause I got a studio full of shit. I'm gonna start paying people back for all the super chats they're giving. I really appreciate you guys for the super chats. Thank you so much.
And from where if it's not taught.
We hear all of that, Dana. We heard your whole text message.
No, I'm reading a super chat.
Okay, so here's a super chat. Here's a super chat real quick. Oh, Dana, they're asking you. So here's a super chat. Hi, a question for Dana. If a woman is designed by God for the man and have children and to be a partner and wife, what would a woman be looking for when finding herself? What would a woman be looking for when finding herself, and from where it's not taught? And from where if it's not taught at home first. So if a woman is designed to be a helpmeet.
Let me answer that question because I gotta go. Looking to find herself as far as that aspect is because do she want that? That's what she needs to figure out. That's part of finding yourself, figuring out, do you want that? And if you want it, how are you going to obtain it? What do you know your responsibilities to get it and to maintain it? That's part of finding herself. But thank you for having me. I have a meeting. If you're on at 7, because my meeting is going to be like an hour. If you're still on, I'll hop back on. But
all right, for sure. We'll probably be gone because I got.
Bye,
all right. Thanks for pulling up, Dana.
It's a pleasure.
Hold on. Oh, let me.
I have a question that's gonna flood my inbox, and I'm kind of gonna regret it.
I got to get out of that one. Oh, Joel pulled up. Oh, Joel, I bet he in that truck. Hold on. What up, Joel?
Yeah, I'm working on.
Hold on, Jay. Hold on, Joel. Hold on. I promise you guys I'm gonna get used to this stuff. Me plus 2. Wait. Me plus guest. It's 3 of us. Boom. And then I'm gonna throw my guy. What up, Jay? Hold on 1 second, bro. Throw my guy O right there. What up, Jay? I hope you get paid. I hope you get paid per mile. I hope you get paid by the mile because you be making that bread, man.
Yeah, I'm on the yard actually.
Okay, so Joel, listen. You know, I don't know how much of the broadcast you heard, bro, but we're talking about. Well, we talked a little bit about the modern mentality, but we're specifically about the 50-50 thing. You know, it's a lot of men today that are asking women to pay 50-50. And it's primarily because economics is not the same as it used to be. Right. Not many men on no bit that's come on the panel is actually preaching that. But I don't know what your point is. You know, and I know you're married now. How is it at your house, man? Are you guys a 50-50 relationship, more modern, or are you more traditional where you got it all the way covered and your wife is just doing what makes her happy?
I'm glad you asked me that. That was one of the things I wanted to talk about.
Your audio is not good though. You don't have the mic.
Hold on. It might be because of all the background noise.
Okay, go ahead. We can hear it.
Okay. I'm in a fairly unique position because me and my wife work. Actually, we just got our marriage license today, actually, so congrats to that. We got the ceremony coming up later. But she works, she has an income, I work, I have an income. But the thing is, the income is unified. Like, it's not like, I know today, most modern women, her income is her income, my income is our income. No, her income is our income. I have control over all the family finances because I'm trying to put the family where it needs to be. Now, she credits me with her having her career because I am a heavy, I'm a heavy influence into why she went into the career path she has, which she's excellent at. She's an excellent, therapist. One day she'll probably be in the Hall of Fame, to be honest. Like, she's just that good. But the thing is, we just had a unique dynamic. Now, of course, when we were first dating, when we first getting to knowing, I was a gentleman. I was chivalrous. That's just the type of dude I am, right?
Right.
And she returned the favor. I opened the door for her to get in the car, and she reached over, unlocked my door, opened it for me. That kind of thing. So it was a give, give, get. So right now we're in the position where she works, but she also realizes, okay, my money is not just my money, but there was a thing that I think Dana brought up where the guys are asking, and I agree with you on some position where the guys are asking what the girl has financially. But Shan, if I were to ask you a question, given today's circumstances, we don't know what some individuals have because of college and college debt. I know some guys where they will ask what her portfolio, not specific to her portfolio, but her finances look like, because they don't want to be marrying her and then find out she got $500,000 worth of debt. You know what I'm saying? So, like, from your position, would that be more reasonable as to why they're asking about the finances?
To me, not really. And so, but I come from a different. So, if first of all, if somebody has $400,000 worth of debt, she better not have a fucking sociology degree, right? So how much debt can a woman have that's going to be a problem in a long-term relationship? Now, if you're talking $500,000, then we're talking about a different situation. If we're talking about credit card debt and car debt, see, so the way that Dana presented the question was like, you know, what's your portfolio like, and how are you making money, and how are you doing? And so that's why I gave that kind of pushback with her. With you, you're saying brothers are asking, but not so much to see what she can put on the pot or how much money she could bring to the table, but more so, what is he getting ready to get into? Well, I think that's going to be a question. Yeah, what is he dealing with? What is he getting ready to, like, you come? I mean, you cute and all, but goddamn, don't come up here with a 200 credit score. You can't afford, everything is turned off. You can't even afford to pay your own phone. Men are going to weed that out anyway. We're going to kind of find that out. To be asking all the financial questions like that is kind of weird. Now, if she's in college and she has a student loan, then you can imagine that. Say it's about $100,000. To me, $100,000 in debt is not a big deal, because we can eradicate that real quick, especially if I'm in love. So I think it depends on the caliber of man or where he is financially. If it's a guy that is an average in earner, say he's bringing in $50,000, and you got a woman who's bringing in $50,000, and this guy has really no aspirations on growing, then I can see him having an issue with a woman having $30,000 in credit card debt. Or maybe she has a car that costs $30,000 and she has a car note and she didn't lease it, she financed it, so now she's stuck with that car note. Plus she got 2 credit cards or 3 credit cards that adds up to $15,000. I'm different with money, so I'm kind of like the not good guy to ask that question, because to me it's like, okay, well, we're gonna get rid of all of that. Especially if I'm marrying you. If I'm marrying you, I'm gonna just cut the check and just pay all that shit off, so we ain't gotta worry about it. And then we'll move on from there. If I'm dating you, I want to see how you live and how you move. Are you destitute, or do you always suggest that you can't ever cover nothing for yourself? Not for me, because I don't expect you to cover shit for me. But when it comes to you, do you keep what's your upkeep like? Are you bad with money? Are you buying shit that you ain't got no business buying? But I know damn well that your student loan is 3 months late. It's that kind of stuff, or your rent is always late. So for those guys, to answer you directly, bro, for the guys that ask those questions about debt, it makes perfect sense. I understand why, especially depending on who it is, because he's basically bringing on a liability. And everybody needs to know what the liability is going to be. My counter to that, even to my own statement, is men should be so leveled up that the woman that he's dating, the kind and caliber of woman that he's dating, that shit don't really matter much. That's how I feel. You got to know who you're dating too. You got to know what kind of woman you are. Some men be trying to holler at the wrong type of women that he can't afford. Some women be trying to holler at women that he ain't got no business trying to holler at, but they trying to step up. So I believe that men should ask that question depending on who he is, but I also believe that the man that's asking that question should be dating the right kind of woman.
Right. You got to know why you want the woman that's coming into your life, like why you need that position filled. You don't just want one because you're lonely, but you got some duties that need to be taken care of. So long as she meets those, all the other questions about her debt or whatever, that's just for me to formulate a plan on how I'm going to fix the rest of that. I want to line up a plan so we can get through life. Okay, you got this much debt. All right, this is how we going to take care of it. But as long as you check off the boxes on why I need you to come into my life, I'm gonna work around all those other things. You know, and that's one of them. We know that she coming with that. Hopefully not.
What up, she?
Came back up with one little thing.
He
Came
back.
back up with one little thing, and I'm gonna jump back now. During the process of vetting the females and stuff, you go through your process. Now, the stand in which you talking about paying a woman bills and things of that nature, it worked good in your era back in the day. Nowadays, these women want men to do that so they can take advantage of it. That's why men are asking, a woman's situation, not how much she make, because me being a man, I don't care how much you make. If we're gonna do it together, I'm only worrying about my money. Your money is gonna be, some change for me, if need be, or if I needed to structure for certain things, that's what it's good for. But other than that, I'm all good. We working together to, because I got this. But my thing is the debt part is a big thing, because if I marry you with $80,000 in school debt, $100,000 in medical bills, about 4 or 5 repo cars, you're not good with money. I don't care. I don't care how pretty you is. I don't care how loving you are to me. It ends there, because the love, it goes away when I see you can't handle money. Because most of the time, with men, the women typically run the finance. Because if you're a busy man that's making money, only thing you got time to do is look at spreadsheets at the end of the month, or throughout, just check the accounts, making sure stuff clear. I do that all the time. Now, regarding trying to process things, I don't want nobody scheming off the top, thinking I ain't gonna notice, because I'm good with numbers, and I don't want nobody that impulse buys to say, well, today I wanted a new George from just some let's say like
Simple.
refrigerator.
Yeah, something simple,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, so you go and just spend $3,000 and hit me with, we got it. Well, what are you arguing about? No, it's a budget. See, I can't deal with a woman like that, man. I knew too many women that I like, once again, cut them off. Like, the cutoff game is strong, man. Like, if you coming over here talking about how good we gonna be together, but then every time I turn around, it's not even the fact that I'm already gonna pay as a gentleman. Even when I go out with my family, I pay for them. I pay for them when we go out. I be like, nah, I got this. My cousin, one of her friends might come. I was like, just y'all too? Well, I pay for that. I'm good. I'm good. If I got my wife and her grandma, I pay the bill. I'm good. I got that. I ain't trying to, ball, like I ain't showing out like I'm trying to ball to pay for 10 people. But if it came down to it, that's what the credit card for. I can use it as a business expense. We had a couple of things as far as a business, and do a tax season. You got to know how to make it move like that, make it look like you're doing something. But at the same time, though, like I said, man, if a woman, she can look a certain way. If her finances not there, man, honestly, men, don't do it. I always talk about the dudes who mess with a fine girl. 5 years you get a divorce, and then you start complaining about she can't cook. At what year didn't she know how to cook? Because obviously when you got with her, she had no cooking capability.
She didn't know how to cook then.
I could tell she was fine. That's all you know, she fine. But I'm gonna go ahead and jump off, man. I'll holler at y'all. Salute again.
All right, for sure. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Thanks for pulling up with that story. She, so he's talking about a woman who is coming with debt, but anyways, go ahead. Did you? I'm gonna give you a chance to respond, Joel.
Yeah, because the area. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay, because the airy thing is, that situation you were talking about with your brother, I literally heard it in that Discord when I was talking to all those other dudes. A guy got with a woman, they got married at a young age in their 20s. They made a deal. You go to school, I'll pay for it. And then once you're out of school, you work, and then I go to school, and then you pay for it. Of course, similar like your brother, she went first. And literally the day, like I think it was like a week or so after she graduated, got her degree, she filed divorce papers. And then his name was on the student loan debt. So it's
and
like
he's a co-signer, right?
Yeah, and I'm like, that story, it's more prevalent because, like, when you were telling it, I was like, dang, this sounds familiar. Like, that dude literally told me this like 2 months ago, happening in real time. You know what I'm saying? So it happens, which is why, like, when you say, like, okay, you can blow off that 500, that 500K in debt. That, you got it. Most guys out here, they don't got it. I don't got it like that. I could pay it off in a few years, depending on where I want to be. But guess what? It's gonna slow me down. You know what I'm saying? Paying off that debt. But there were some points that I wanted to talk about that Dana was talking about when she was talking about finding yourself or something, right? And Shan, back me up here. But why should a woman have to get out here to find herself? Isn't that supposed to be the job of her parents, to raise her so she knows herself?
Well, you would think, you would imagine, you would imagine so. And let me just throw one thing on the debt. I think I mentioned automobile. It depends on the kind of automobile. And the reason why I didn't mention house debt, like if a woman has a house, that's not a debt, that's an investment. So I don't count mortgages and I don't count some cars, but I'm talking credit card and shopping and mismanagement of money like you were talking about. Now, when it comes to what Dana was saying about a woman finding themselves, and this is to the ladies out there, for the ladies out there that think that they need to find themselves in their 20s so that they're prepared and whole by the time they're 30, I think that's bullshit. I think that you should have found yourself, as I think Joel is suggesting, before you left home. You should have found yourself from your mother and father. Now, the only problem, Joel, is how many homes are solid enough for young adults to find themselves these days. We got a lot of broken homes out here, and a lot of mothers are misguiding their children. And so I want to back you up, but to back up Dana just a little bit, some of these women don't have the opportunity to find themselves in their teens. They have to use their 20s because they came from fucked up ass homes. Now, even still, now I'm back to you to push back on Dana, even for the women that needs to find themselves or do whatever they need to do to become a woman or whatever they need to. It don't take 10 years. They can do that married. They can do that loving a good man. I think women, it's almost like I want to say that maybe am I giving women too much credit? Hell no. Women are smart enough, young women, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, all the way to 27, since she used 28, are smart enough and have enough information to know, to make some decent discernment, especially when it comes to what I believe is natural to women. Nurturing is not something that you generally have to actually learn. Women can do that. You can look in the animal kingdom and see the female species the female gender of most species. They didn't learn. They didn't go to mother school. Lionesses didn't go to lioness school to learn how to raise their cubs. Female elephants didn't learn how to become a good mother. Adult women have all the tools that they need to become good wives. And if they are serious about that, and if they were pushed towards that, they would become that. But the problem is you got so many older women telling younger women, don't worry about that shit. Just hold on. Don't worry about that. And by the time they get to the point that they need to worry about it, it's too late, and you can't teach them nothing new. They're already developed, and you can't, and they're not going to try to learn nothing new. They're too busy. Their argument, they don't, you can't teach them nothing when they get 35 years old and they need to learn how to become a wife. It's too late. So learn that shit early. Learn it when you're young. Figure it out when you're young. And then that is what I'm saying.
I don't think women really find themselves until they are married. You find yourself.
Well, that's because the purpose. Well, it's all about purpose, right? Oh, because what's the purpose of women? What's the purpose? People talk about purpose of, in what is your purpose here? Oh, your purpose is to what? Sell weaves? Is to, to sell coffee and shit? Is women's purpose to get the bag?
If they are Christians, then they know that man was here and then he needed a woman, and so it went black. And he created a woman out of the rear to help.
Yes.
The man do what he had to do. So that's your purpose, to be a wife to a man. Now, every woman ain't gonna get one, so we know that just based on the numbers. So we know some women go out here and acquire wealth for themselves to take care of themselves until they get old. But most women, you find yourself within your marriage. That's why you're here.
Yep.
And to think that I'm going to want you at 30, I mean, look at all your pictures in your phone. At 30, you don't look like you did at 20. And I'm looking at that more than I am looking at your debt.
The purpose of women is to support their man.
Yeah.
The purpose of man is to support the world. Men have a divine charge as well. We are supposed. The legacy is created based on what you provide to your community, what you provide to society. We got men. I don't know if anybody ever saw the movie Shawshank Redemption. It's a really fantastic movie. I think it won a bunch of Oscars. There was a scene in there. There was a scene in there where he explained. He said, "Listen, men are here to do something. We're here. We're designed to work. I feel like working. I want to work. I don't want to be here chilling." Men oftentimes, when children are born, they don't even want to deal with the infant. They don't even want to deal with that. They want to get to the point where they can talk to their children. They can talk to the son or the daughter. The baby side, that's the mother. Mothers love they nurture. That's what women are. But we got the roles are so fucked up these days that we got women out here being bosses and men out here being softies, and they don't understand why the relationships aren't lasting and our divorce rate is at 60% and motherfuckers is arguing and can't get along.
I often ask girls to ask your parents, ask your mom, what's your purpose? And ask your dad, what's your purpose? And dad's gonna always say, all this, see this house, this roof over your head, this was my purpose. Mom's always gonna say, baby, you were my purpose. She's here to nurture their kids. She's naturally, mamas are gonna say that you are my purpose, and dad don't feel like he has a purpose until he's taking care of what he's presiding over. We here for different things. We're here to use our time to get what we're here to do done, and women are here to help us with that. When somebody kick the door in, the woman jump over the kids while the man take care of the bad guy. That's why you're here, to help me take care of all of this. But you nurture the kids.
Yeah, man. Are there any women in the chat? Are there any women on the broadcast that feel that they want to contribute 50-50? They don't want their man. Are there any women who don't want their man to cover everything? I want you guys to pull up if you can. If not, and then is there any men out there that don't want to cover everything? Is there any men out there that don't want to and will demand their wife to pay for half of everything? I'm talking across the board: mortgage, insurance, car note, cell phone bill, electric bill, power, water and power, everything. Is there any men out there that want their women to contribute? And I'd like to hear it. If you guys are out there, pull up. If not, I think we need to get back into traditional roles. I think men need to concentrate on getting to the bag, especially young men. You need to make sure that you level up so you can take care of your family and do the things that you're charged to do and be a great husband. I think women need to not worry about putting a whole lot of pressure on her shoulders, but instead making sure that family and that network that's at home is taken care of and nurtured and covered. Women need to make sure that, and even if you don't have children, say there's no children at all, because we're always assuming that there's going to be some kids born. Let's say that a woman gets with a man and there's no kids, or say that all the kids are grown. This is even for the older ladies. Let's say all the kids is grown and out the house, and you find you a man. Find out what your man is doing and tap into him. He's the pilot. He's the pilot of the airplane. If you want that plane to fly smoothly, then don't be fighting him for the sticks. Let him pilot and make sure that he's good. And I think everything will be fine. And then in your spare time, or in your time that you use for yourself, do what makes you happy. And if that is work. Go get a job. Do something that you want to do, but not because you have to do it. If it's opening up a store, a boutique, or online, if it's becoming a fitness coach or a life coach, it doesn't matter what it is. Do something that makes you happy. If it's modeling or acting, jump into that, because it fulfills you and makes you feel good about the things that you want to become outside of the marriage. But make sure your man is covered first, because he's the one that's got to take care of the whole household. And that's what I believe. And I don't think I'll ever change that. I'm already damn near 50 years old, so I think I'm stuck in that way.
I agree.
Man, John, Joel, it's been a good broadcast, bro. I appreciate you guys.
This is my first time ever camming up, man. I appreciate this.
Ever camming up where? With me or period?
Period.
Oh man, you a good contributor, bro. You need to run around the internet, run around these internet streets and these YouTube streets and jump on some more lives, man. You have really good content. Joel, I fuck with Joel. I'll be watching him jump on other lives. So Joel is always tapping in. So he always taps in with some great info. But
I just started a channel like 2 weeks ago. My channel is only 2 weeks old. I got like 10 videos out now, so if y'all got some time, y'all want to go check it out and hit that subscribe button, I appreciate it. But
I got you, bro. What's the name of the channel?
I've just been working.
No,
Mr.
But what's the name of it?
Living.
Mr. O is Just Living. That's right.
Mr.
All right,
O
everybody,
is Just
please
Living.
run over to Mr. O is Just Living. Tap into him and subscribe to his channel. Please subscribe to mine. See, I got to get used to the whole. Please hit the like button and please subscribe. I got to get used to saying that. Right. You know.
I said the same thing. Yeah, we're gonna figure this YouTube thing out, man. But
let's figure it out.
I appreciate you having me. I'll definitely come back.
All right, man. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you, Joel.
Yeah, no problem. I still gotta post my first video, so.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.
All right, thank you.
All right, for sure. All right, guys. I think that's about a wrap. I need to come up with a better outro, but 50-50. Should you pay all the bills? Modern men. Are you a modern man? This is to the fellas. Are you a modern man? Are you the type of brother that said, man, shit, it's hard out here. These streets is hard out here, man. Covering, my rent is expensive. My car note is expensive. I get with a girl, man. She got to bring something to the, bring shit to the table, right? Men often ask, well, what are you bringing to the table? Well, what do you expect a woman to bring to the table? I don't really ask that question. I used to ask that question when I was in my beta phase, but now that I've woken up, it's like, why would I ask a woman what are you expecting a woman to bring to the table, fellas? When you ask her that question, what do you want her to bring? Some money? You want to find out how much money she makes? You want to know if she can contribute to some of your bills to lighten your load? My argument is, nah, man, you step up and make more money. Whatever you make and double it. Work harder. All she should bring to the table, and this is what most, I'll say, high value men laid out as Kevin Samuels' high value criteria. Those men want 5 things. A woman to be fit, in shape, feminine, soft to her man, friendly, which is cooperative. That was the word I was trying to think of earlier from Kevin Samuels. He uses cooperative. I use friendly. Same, one and the same. She needs to be friendly. She needs to be faithful to her man. And she needs to be fun, because who wants a boring motherfucker? That's what men should really ask a woman to bring to the table. Fit, feminine, friendly, faithful, and fun. And I don't care how much money you make. That should be across the board. If you only make 50 grand, you should be dating a woman that you can afford. Brothers, if you only make $50,000 a year, if you make $30,000 a year, you should date a woman that you can afford. If you can't afford a woman at $30,000, you shouldn't be dating. Step up your game. Get to the point that we're leveling up. I want men to level up. I'm sick of guys running around being hobosexuals, borrowing their girlfriend's car. That's the Pookies and the Ray Rays we talk about. Don't be a Pookie and a Ray Ray, bro. Handle your business. Step up your game. Concentrate on getting your shit together. Get your shit together, and then you ain't got to worry about what a woman brings to the table outside of those 5 F's. All right. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Tomorrow we're back. 5 days a week. I'm going live with great topics, and tomorrow we'll be here again on Friday. We're going to talk about something yummy. I got so many great topics and so many things. It's kind of like mind blowing, but I appreciate you guys, and everybody that gave me a super chat. Thank you so much. YouTube sent me a email telling me what my bank account is and to send them picture ID and all that other kind of stuff. I got to give them my info, give them my math. So I guess they're trying to send me a payout. I appreciate you guys for all of that, man. You know what? It really inspires me because technically I should be downtown at my office. As you know, I'm in fashion. I should be at my office designing a fall. I skipped my whole fall. I don't have a fall collection this year. Why? Because I'm too busy. I'm too excited on YouTube. I'm too happy to be here with you guys. So I want you guys to continue to tap in with me. Thank you for the support. Thank you for financially supporting me. It encourages me to even be here. It allows me to make sure that I'm bringing you great production value. Makes me, because all I do is turn around and put the money back into equipment. That's really all I do. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to read some of these chats as we go straight to the outro. You guys can continue talking for the next 3 to 4 minutes, and anything you say in the chat is going to come on the screen and be burned on this video. Talk to you guys. Love you.
Esa chica quiere selfie, ella quiere ver. Pa' que el CP se dé cuenta que aquí perdió esa mujer. Lo que quiere es enloquecer, ser la mujer que él quería ver. Esa chica quiere selfie, que yo parezca en él. Como que ella quiere disfruta la noche, lo anormal. Creo que el novio teme que su relación va a terminar. Se da cuenta que no necesita a alguien más. Quiere un selfie para su Instagram. Ella ya no quiere relación.
Shout out to Jess. Thank you for the $5 super chat, Jess. Appreciate that. Hey. Uh-oh. Did Brittany just call me sexy? You better be careful, Brittany. Don't be calling me sexy. I'm single, I'm looking for a queen. I'm looking for a queen. Don't play with me.
Solamente en sus sueños nos ponemos risueños con un norteño y mi flow brasileño. Yo te juro que es bueno. Ya me doy el palo. Es empate si lo desigualo. Le gusta lo honesto y lo malo. Me traje un regalo. Ella ya no quiere relación. Alguien que diga su condición. Que solamente le dé traición. Pa' después llegar con un perdón. Quiere hangar y ser de esos pibis que goza la vida y lo hacen como esa chica quiere ser.
Jonathan is funny. I love me some Jonathan. I just came back to the computer, Jonathan. Don't be starting shit, Jay. Don't be starting shit, Jay. Sheena, you got some topics for Sheena? Okay, Sheena, DM me some of your topics, but only if you agree to cam up and come on. And you know what? You don't have to actually turn on the camera as long as I can hear your audio. Being on camera isn't necessarily required at this stage. It's just as long as you come on and you can speak your piece, then yeah. So shoot me the DM, Sheena. Let's talk about some stuff. She go, Jay. Oh, that's funny. Then I got Big Bad Bull. He out there saying, "Shoot your shot, baby girl." Uh-oh. You better be careful, Brittany. You want me to pull up on the Lauren show? It's because it's a dating show, right? Are you gonna pick me? Are you gonna select your boy? We'll see.